Welcome in, everybody. We have a very, very special treat for you tonight. Playoff season is live. It is upon us, and we have another exciting matchup for you guys tonight. Going to be the Saints varsity team, League of Legends, in the NACE Star League in the top 4, taking on Florida Southern. The winner will book a trip to Philadelphia to be on land for a national championship. Rare Jobin are here once again. How are you feeling, man?
Feeling super happy about this one today. Exciting to see what this team's got, of course, with the time crunch looming of preseason. They wanted to get this done on this patch at the very least. Got rescheduled a couple of times, but overall going to be a very exciting matchup. I want to see what these teams have in store because honestly, this is going to be one of the tougher opponents that the Saints have been going up against, at least in NACE Star League.
Yeah, exactly. The matchups, they're going to get tougher and tougher and tougher. There's so many really strong teams. We know Maryville, they are already waiting. Tickets booked to Philadelphia. That's pretty much the number one undisputed team, the Saints. They've had a year of their own where they can be considered potentially one of those best teams, but now they have one more series to come out here and prove it. Florida Southern, no slouch of a team. They're going to have to be ready and on their A game.
Yeah, and the Mocs here, they're really looking strong coming into this series tonight. Of course, they had a flawless regular season as did the Saints at least. Yeah. Had a little bit of a hiccup in a couple of those matchups. I believe they dropped a game to Kansas. They dropped a game actually in their quarterfinal against Michigan Tech as well. So it hasn't been the cleanest of runs for them compared to what the Saints have put together, but nonetheless, a very strong and cohesive team there. This is a program that's been around the block a couple of times. I think this is their third or fourth year of competing in League of Legends there. So of course, they've got the staff, they've got the personnel on the back there. They're really looking to try and make that next step forward because they've always been sort of seen as sort of a tier 2 team, I want to say, in the same way that the Saints have been seen as a tier 2 team. They really want to push their legacy forward a little bit more because, there is a finals ticket awaiting them against Maryville, who have been undisputed top 3 CLL teams across the entire country, I guess across all of the U.S. as well. So, you kind of put them interchangeably between UST, Maryville, SLU. Those 3 schools get thrown around a lot. So, it's big shoes to fill when they're going up in those finals. But both of these teams, they're excited for that nonetheless.
Yeah, I know the Saints are definitely excited. They've been champing at the bit the entire semester. They've been saying, don't sleep on us, don't sleep on us. We've seen a couple roster changes as well. They've had their fair share of adversity, but they have battled through it. They've done an excellent job to kind of adjust, move on the fly. I mean, the bot lane is probably the highlight that we've been talking about the entire year, but that's the thing they've been focusing on. Rock Boom has been absolutely unbelievable in that bot lane so far. The Saints as a whole have done such a good job. But just gonna be curious now as these teams get better and better and better. What kind of strategy adjustments are you gonna have to make? We've seen a couple of series last week where game 1 goes completely different from game 2, goes completely different from game 3. So I'm very curious which one of these teams is gonna blink first because it is a best of 3. So you have that maybe one game to get the feeling out process, but not a whole lot of time to bounce back if you see yourself in a hole.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind in regard to the just changes that we might see within the series, the 3 games, is that very likely we're going to see them with very set comps coming into game 1. A lot of the times game 1 draft goes as quickly as possible because they know exactly what they want. And I mean, we've heard from Saints, at least, they want to sort of stick to their guns. They don't want to pull out anything too crazy at this point. Granted, if anything, now would be the time to do so as the meta is heavily shifting as we get towards preseason. Specifically, tanks are going to become insanely tanky once again. Mages are going to get, a nice little buff in terms of their itemization as well. That's just sort of a brief rundown of what to expect there. But nonetheless, I think that overall, we have some very strong some very strong champions that have agency to sort of flex around the map. I'm curious to see if they will flex some champions around. I mean, we've heard the Varus get flexed around a couple of times. I think another one that they've considered is Jace a couple times as well, but really depends on what they're feeling on the day and really what the players feel like playing as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait another 5 minutes or so. Wait till that draft gets started. Let the players get loaded into the lobby there, but we will be back right after the break. Book trip to Philadelphia on the line. Saints versus Florida Southern up next.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saints broadcast here. NACE Star League semifinals, League of Legends on the docket here. Of course, we're Adam alongside Jobin once again. Very excited to see this matchup come through. Yeah. And, of course, Game 1 draft going to be underway shortly here. Florida Southern College looking like a strong opponent here. Very, very interested to see what they've got up their sleeve.
Yeah, and anyone knowing that there's a trip to go to land in the books, they're going to be coming out with their A game, trying to go to Philadelphia as well. Heard it's nice this time of the year. The Phillies had a little bit of some heartbreak, so Philly, trying to go there, win themselves a championship. Maryville awaiting in the wings for either one of these teams, so it'll all come down now. Finally to the draft. First set of bans are going to come through. Saints going to ban away that Lilia. They saw Lilia one trick on the other side, so going to get that out of there, and then Rock Boom going to get that Tristana taken away.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the Rock Boom there, the boom stands for the Tristana in a lot of ways, just with how well they've been able to play it in the past. Yuumi going to be banned away. Meow meow. That's all you get out of me today. Not too crazy, especially considering how strong that champion was. Second most banned champion at Worlds after the Caitlyn. So wouldn't be too surprised to see a Caitlyn ban come through as well, but the Zoe as well. Going to be taken off the table. Just a lot of comfort being taken away from the side of Florida Southern here. This is the sort of priority you're able to get on this red side. If you're okay sort of handshaking away something like a Caitlyn for the Varus, that was sort of the answer we saw towards the end of that meta there. Aatrox getting taken off, that's no surprise either.
Yeah, what you mentioned was really good. The Saint, they played into the Caitlyn so many times. Maybe they're willing to just, take the comfort picks away. We've played against the Caitlyn lane probably 1,000 times in this last meta, so we're comfortable on it. We're going to see the Udyr get banned away again, and then we are going to see that first pick Caitlyn. So nothing surprising. The Saints, I'm sure they expected this. I'm sure they'll be ready for it.
Yeah, and I think the general answer to this, normally you just sort of handshake over the Caitlyn with the Varus, and you pick up something like a Karma or something that you have that sort of agency with. It's such a strong bot lane combo there as they pick it up in front of us there that you have a lot more agency in that lane, and it really dissuades the likes of a Lux or a Morgana from coming through blind, because you're going to lose that lane in a lot of ways. You have poke on one side with this Caitlyn Lux, but Lux doesn't have as much agency as Karma does in the later stages. The Varus can go multiple different builds. If they're worried they're going to get outranged, we could see a lethality angle come through. If there is a little bit more frontline that they have to shred through, we can see that crit build come through, and Bel'Veth, definitely one of those champions that sort of fits in the middle, does quite well at frontlining, but also does a lot of damage if given the time of day.
We haven't seen a ton of Bel'Veth in Collegiate, have we?
No, not so much.
I think she's been getting a little more popular. It seems like I've seen some videos here and there, but not something we've seen a ton. So make sure, wonder if the Saints will be super ready for that. If they maybe knew this was going to be in the cards, we are going to see the Azir come through again. So two standard meta picks as far as for Florida Southern side. They're the Saints. I'm sure they expected. They played against comps like this the entire season, though. I'm sure they're going to have something in store, something ready to go back on this one. Have we seen Alonso play Graves? Maybe once or twice, right?
Not too much. I think it's probably, if we're counting in terms of how many times they played it, probably like down their fourth or fifth time that they've played it. It's been banned a lot. And the main thing about Graves here is that you have so much early game agency, or such a good 1v1 champion in those early stages, that you can invade this Bel'Veth, who is at her weakest before she's able to go into what I call the bat chest form there, when she's able to take over her void corals there. Once she hits level 6, she's really able to start to snowball the game in her control. And what we expect to see is some strong laners around that. Having that as here, you basically neutralize any lane that you're going up against there. Regardless of what Bakery Boy is going to pull out, you're going to have a neutral lane state, in which case you can rotate to these objectives. You can get that push priority if you need it. Wonder what we'll see on that top side of the map as well, because it's so important for Bel'Veth to get to those void corals and get that going, because she's a champion that if you give her an inch, she'll take it a mile.
Yeah, we see a couple more bans are going to come through. Ricky Shack's going to get banned away on that left side. The Saints, they're going to ban away the Bard and the Renata Glass. So a couple interesting bans. They're going to ban out a couple supports there, so I wonder what they're going to let the Caitlyn get paired with. Maybe they're going to let something like the Lux through, as you said. They're not worried about as much about the Lux or the Morg having that Karma in the bot lane side there. We're going to see Syndra get banned out as well, so maybe we see a Bakery Boy LeBlanc special as per usual. Usually if she gets through, it usually picks her, and right as I say it, she is going to come through. So not too surprising. The Saints going to get some comfort picks in there at least, and it's always interesting to see what will Ricky end up playing. It's like spin the wheel, basically, what champion's going to play every single week, but curious to see how they're going to round out these compositions. We are going to see the Sejuani come through for Florida Southern as well.
Yeah, and I think the main thing about the LeBlanc here is you kind of want a little bit of dive going into this backline against the Caitlyn Azir. You want to put some pressure on them. The other matchup that we've seen Bakery Boy pull out in the past into the Azir specifically is something like the Akali, which, another option, sort of the 1B to the 1A of this LeBlanc. But Rakan is actually the pickup coming through from Florida Southern. Paramore going to be piloting that one. Rakan is an interesting choice here, all things considered. I have played a lot of Rakan. It gives you engage in that sense to be able to go into that backline and really disrupt the likes of this Varus Karma, but at the same time, it's a really hard lane to play, and the main thing is that Rakan is still considered a ranged champion, will be considered a melee champion in 2 days. That's one of the big changes that's coming through, which is huge because your Relic Shield procs a lot easier. You're going to be able to proc Sejuani passive a lot easier as well with that. Right now, though, going to be a little bit more difficult. Granted, I don't think that's really going to be their focal point. You have that melee top side already for yourself with the Sejuani Bel'Veth. Curious to see how they make those ganks work out and everything. But overall, the Mordekaiser, I like this as an option because you have that dive agency with that LeBlanc into the backline, and you can just throw someone down into the Millennium Puzzle, as you like to call it. Put him down to Botswana, see what you can do with them in that 1v1. And, it's been a champion that Ricky's felt very comfortable with in the past, and I think that Mordekaiser is one of those champions that will always have some sort of relevance in pro play, because especially around objectives, you just take away their jungler and say, hey, you don't get to smite. This is our objective, and you can really put the pressure on in that sense. But very excited to see what these teams have in store.
Yes, huge stakes on the line. Both these teams, that's the one thing. Even though we know the Saints have been in a lot of big spots, the nerves cannot be overstated for either one of these games. Every single one of these teams, they know all it takes is maybe dropping one game, making a few small mistakes here and there, letting a game get out of hand before it might be too late for you. So both these teams are going to have to be ready. And I love the Mordekaiser pick. That's my favorite champion by far. I love putting people into the Shadow Realm, especially, taking away that jungler off a lot of these objectives, which the Saints, they've done a lot better with these objectives, but they definitely have had their fair share of struggles depending on the game in the week, so they're going to have to make sure they're coordinated on that one. Both these comps definitely going to be interesting. The Saints, a little more of what we're used to seeing. Maybe a couple of wrinkles on the Florida Southern side there, especially the Rakan coming through, but a lot of the other picks we have seen a good amount of, so we should have a good idea of what to expect, but once we get on the Rift, that is ultimately when things will be decided, and it looks like we are just getting onto the Rift now. Trip to Philadelphia on the line. Florida Southern versus the Saints varsity team. Either one of these teams fighting for it all to try to take on the Titans of Maryville, and we are now underway.
Looking already at the runes here, we get a sort of idea of what these comps are going to go for at Rockboom. Very likely to go for that Pokevarus. You see the Arcane Comet coming through. Erase has picked itself up for them, the Karma as well. It means they want to dominate lane as much as possible. And normally it's Caitlyn being that lane dominant pick, but when you have the Rakan that doesn't quite have the same level of level 1 engage, the same amount of range as you want in some of these Caitlyn lanes, you're going to be on the back side here. So you can see even then, Javi opting for the fleet footwork, just trying to survive this lane as much as possible, because they know that the Caitlyn can still get outpoked by the likes of this Varus Karma. As well, we see fleet footwork coming through on Alonso, very strong at keeping your health up in the jungle. Make sure your first clear can lead to a first gank. The interesting one here, Nebula opting for the Hail of Blades on the Azir. We've seen Conqueror rise up a lot. We've seen Comet come through for Strike. Sort of the last choice that a lot of these mid laners want to take is this Hail of Blades, but it does give you a little bit more burst potential, especially into something like Bakery Boy. You try and get as much damage out in a short time as possible, and I think the Hail of Blades might be the best option in that situation. Granted, First Strike probably would have been fine in this ranged versus Assassin ranged matchup.
Yeah, but you don't say, especially Bakery Boy. We know he loves to fight, he loves to skirmish, he loves to get in, try to get out. So trying to go for that same burst damage to try to get him back, because a lot of times we see he just flat out wins a lot of his trades early on, and then he ends up just teleporting in and out, finding that kill early on. So, and the Azir always going to be a super strong laner as well, so it should be a very interesting matchup. Bakery Boy, I'm sure he's played against probably 2,000 Azirs this season, especially playing as much LeBlanc as he has, so should be ready for all of this in your race, because he gets some poke going on early in this bot lane.
And this is the main thing about the Rakan, is that the Rakan has no answer for all of this. You either have to go in for a full commit with your Grand Entrance there, but Paramore doesn't want to really pull the trigger on that, has the Relic Shield, having trouble even walking up to get those stacks there. But overall, it's a little bit challenging for this Caitlyn, this Rakan to do anything in this lane right now. And already, Bakery Boy, it's a big level 2 trade that can definitely turn the tides of this lane. Of course, there are potions to sort of heal up off of it, but Bakery Boy just trying to survive all of the poke that comes back the other way. That's the main thing about this LeBlanc versus Azir lane, is that in extended trades, Azir will always win out.
Yeah, LeBlanc, Bakery Boy wants to go in basically for that one-shot potential, so he's going to try to get these early trades, as much as possible. Rockboom in a race, trying to do work in this bot lane. We've seen so many times Rockboom in a race be kind of the carry of the Saints, while even though all the other members have played phenomenally. We see Alonso doing a ton of work in that jungle as well, facilitating all of the lanes. So I suspect, though, it'll be another, hey, Ricky, take care of business on the top side. You should be okay with that Mordekaiser, especially against Sejuani. She's not going to be able to one-shot you or get like any of these crazy trades against you. Facilitate this bot side early on. They're going to see a gank. Bakery Boy is going to have to flash away from that Velvet, though. So, little scare for that mid lane, but he will at least escape with his life. And Ricky trying to get some damage in on this top side. Going to get a couple hits in. Might be able to get a stun up here. Going to at least get that flash out of the Sejuani. Rakan going to go for that knockup. Going to send a race flying into the sky there, but Rockboom going to poke them right back. And both teams, they're getting a little dangerous with these trades.
And the main thing to keep in mind, oh boy.
Oh, Ricky, beautiful job. Gonna land QE, get that last little W stack to get that heal. And he's gonna find first blood. So some gold in a Mordekaiser's pocket, exactly how the Saints wanted this thing to go. Now the bot lane might be able to take a little bit of pressure off that top side. Maybe send Velvet top to go help out. Because Ricky, when Ricky gets the lead, man, he is not afraid to try to flex that thing. And it's Florida Southern gonna have to be aware of that one.
And I think the main thing as well is Majora there opting for the flash instead of the ignite that we more often see on the Sejuani top lane. Likely, if they had the ignite, they're able to get first blood before that whole trade happens. At the same time, you want a little bit more safety, especially with the dive potential coming through from the likes of this LeBlanc, the Graves can get into that backline as well. The Mordekaiser, if you take him down into the Death Realm as well, you need to be careful of that matchup. So, but Majora burning both sums already. They're going to be in a little bit of a pickle in terms of this lane because they're going to need a little bit more help coming through from Dragowski. And with Ricky LaFleur still having that flash up and available, you're still in great shape if you're the side of the Saints here, especially on this top side of the map.
Yeah, Ricky's going to try to shove that tower in top side. This ball lane still doing very good work trying to get those trades out. Ricky's still trying to harass this Sejuani in that top side. The Saints bot side have to be careful. Belveth walking through that tri-bush right now. Maybe trying to set up some sort of play here. Get Rock Boom and Erase behind the scorecards here. Looks like they might try something here. Belveth gonna walk over top side here. Rock Boom and Erase are in a very deep spot. Erase gonna have the Ignite go on him. Is gonna flash out, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. Paramore is going to find that kill onto Erase. Now Rock Boom going to get some teammate backup here from Alonso. They're going to send Florida Southern back the other way. Maybe try to possibly find a kill. If they get lucky here, Flash is going to go through lots of damage. They're able to find that kill. Alonso's going to pick one up. Double knockup, going to save the rest of the members though. Bakery Boy did show as well the Saints. They're going to get that 1-for-1 and they're going to send that bot lane back into heat.
Yeah. Bit of a heavy investment coming through from the Saints there. Putting 4 members down towards that bot side. It's a flash coming through from Alonso, flash coming through from Rock Boom. The heal as well was burned. The flash, of course, from Erase. So it's a lot of summoners burned. Oh my goodness, Majora not enjoying that situation too much. But at the end of the day, the kill goes over to the Rakan. Probably the best person for the Saints to get that kill in that sense. And on the flip side, it's Alonso picking it up on the opposite side. Probably not your best case situation for the side of the Moccasins on the flip side. But nonetheless, even trades overall, it is leading to a little bit more of a gold lead for the side of the Saints here. And it's going to be curious to see if they can sort of push that advantage further, especially on this top side, because as we mentioned, it is paramount for the side of the Mox to be able to get these Rift Heralds, these Rift Monsters, to get those Void Corals in their favor. Rock Boom was able to reconnect.
Hopefully,
he's walking.
I was waiting for the pause menu or something to show up. Luckily, I didn't know if he was like AFK walking back to lane, right click, kind of set and forget it. Luckily, should be all good. Bakery Boy harassing Nebula in this mid lane. Erase is going to come show here. Maybe try to set something up, but Nebula going to be very close to that tower. Going to dodge that skill shot as well. Rakan going to go for the knockup. Not going to quite find it though. So seeing a whole lot of members stack up in this mid lane, trying to fight for wave control here. Erase going to get that level up. Bakery Boy still trying to harass. This Azir has a little bit of HP advantage, but trying to make sure he gets that wave shoved in. Try to limit Belveth's ability to take over those lanes and find those early kills.
Yeah, and of course, we can see on the top side, the Blasting Wand and that Ruby Crystal already complete. Going to take Majora down to the Death Realm. Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
Oh, Alonso and Ricky teaming up on Majora here. She's walking the wrong way though. Ricky going to land a couple stacks here. Oh, Majora going the very wrong way near sight. Alonso coming up as well. That shotgun in tow. Majora getting tagged down. Alonso's going to pick up that kill. The Saints off to a beautiful start right now. Just a quick walk top from Alonso. Don't need to use too much to invest it. I believe Ricky did flash at some point there, but going to be worth it nonetheless. They realize Ricky got that extra gold in his pocket. We're going to try to get this Sejuani completely out of the game.
And you can see it's Dragowski sort of being behind the tempo there. The bot side has already been cleared out by this Graves. The great thing about Graves is that how quickly you can clear out your camps. You can just continue to farm and farm and farm, and you can still make these ganks happen. You have one of the fastest clears in the game. That's why you see so many high-elo junglers picking up the Graves at the end of the day, just because you can clear so quickly and you can have that tempo advantage. Unfortunately for Dragowski, they're a little bit behind the play there. They try and find an invade. They're not able to find too much. Now level 6 already on the Graves. Oh boy, Nebula.
Oh, Bakery Boy going for it. Nebula playing with fire, though. Bakery Boy is a dangerous man to play with. He has to be careful on those trades. Ricky still trying to harass this top side. Now the Saints, they're going to get an early drag for this, or at least they should be able to. Erase and Alonso both going to be there. So that's a beautiful job. Set up the lanes for success. They're able to go around and find that first dragon as well.
Yeah, and this is the power of your lanes at this point. The Mordekais are able to outlane Majora thus far. Bakery Boy as well doing a great job of putting the pressure onto Nebula, and that just affords so much room for Alonso to go top lane, get a gank. Normally that's when the jungler's taking your dragon on the opposite side of the map, but Dragowski doesn't have that push on bot lane. They don't have the same level of lane priority. Thus, that is the dragon going over to Alonso there. So he gets something top lane, he gets something bot lane. He's now going to be looking towards this Rift Herald as well, and with how strong Ricky is, Majora does not want to try and take this fight, especially not in the 2v2, even the 3v3 there, because as you can see, Nebula not as caught up as they would have liked, has the last chapter at the very least, so they have a little bit more agency to look for these fights, but nonetheless, the Belveth is behind the Graves right now. The Sejuani is behind that Mordekaiser. You're in rough shape in that 3v3 if it does erupt, and even if the supports come out, I don't think that Paramore can really do a whole lot, given they're only level 4.
Yeah, I think the Saints would definitely have the advantage, and the advantage of getting that dragon before that 8-minute mark. Now the Rift is going to be up. It looks like there's going to be a contest for it. Bakery Boy getting into 2v1 here. He's going to try to find some damage on Nebula. Rakan going to miss that knockup. Paramore not going to get anything. The Saints maybe going to try to steal this Rift Herald away as well. Dragowski going to be very low on HP. That Rift's going to get spited out. Alonso going to try to find these kills though. Dragowski, he's going to fall. The Saints are trying to go marching here. Double root going to come through. Bakery Boy, the shuffle's not going to be enough. That's a double for Rock Boom. That's going to be 3. A triple kill for the ADC. The Saints, they end up turning that fight on its head and putting all those kills in just the right place. Rock Boom's going to be having a real good time now.
Yeah, and look at how the lane allocations worked out. Ricky was already walking bot lane before that play even happened. It seemed as if Majora and Dragowski were a little bit behind the play. Yes, they are able to secure that Rift Herald for themselves, but what are they losing on the opposite side? It forces the teleport out of Majora now. They're not really going to be able to drop that Herald for free anymore because there's a 2v1 lane in that situation now, and Rockboom is now going to be able to pick up even more plates. Was able to pick up the blue buff, which is so great on lethality Varus as well, and now you're just able to bully out this Sejuani, who's just going to be taking damage under tower, not going to be in the greatest of shapes. Of course, a lot of gold for Rockboom to be able to reset on. Should have most of the mythic complete. And even now, look at this mid lane. Bakery Boy just winning out on all of these trades against Nebula thus far. It's been a spectacular early game coming through from the Saints.
Yeah, and that's one thing we're really shown of is that, yeah, Ricky going to be up 20 CS already, going to have almost a 1,000 gold lead. But Bakery Boy, he's been so consistent, and so have the Saints in general. When they've gotten these early leads the last couple weeks, they've done such a good job. We've said it so many times. They play safe. Then as soon as they find that knockout punch, they will absolutely take it. They're going to swing. They're going to drop that Rift Herald top side, try to be a thorn in Ricky's side here. Should be able to drop that tower as well. It's going to crash. Ooh, just not quite enough HP there. Ricky still going to be able to hold on to this tower for the time being. He's going to have that chance to still get that lane backwards. Bakery Boy going to go in once again, but going to back off, seeing that Rakan there roaming again.
Interesting adaptation coming through from Rockboom as well. You see the Swifties coming through. Just wants to get as much movement speed as possible. Doesn't really care about the cooldown reduction in that situation. The ability haste. I think that will really help against the likes of this Rakan, just to be able to outrun the Grand Entrance. It means you can just sort of walk out of it. But even still, Javi's got to be careful on his bot side. Alonso's here.
Oh, they're going to dive. They're going to get that flash out of Javi. At least, lots of damage is going to get healed up at that last second. Saints almost perfecting that 3-man dive. Alonso double buffed up. They're going to send the headshot in there. Rockboom going to eat that one like it's no trouble. Nebula going to have to waste a shuffle just on Bakery Boy alone. The Saints, they're still trying to posture on this bot side and find something. Bakery Boy, he's trying to bully Nebula right out of the lane here. Ricky still shoving in this top side. The Saints, they really wanted to find that kill bot side. Just weren't able to quite pick that one up. Ricky still chopping away at this Sejuani top side. Definitely still in a massive advantage. 30 CS at this point in the game already.
You can just see how much priority this bot lane has right now. It's Dragowski forced to eat this wave, as opposed to someone like the Caitlyn being able to pick that one up. That doesn't bode well, because Dragowski gets nothing off of these lane minis. They aren't incentivized to farm them. They aren't incentivized to try and look for the fight, especially since they're down so far. Yes, Paramore now has level 6 for the charm to come through, but at the same time, you really don't have any solo kill threat. Granted, topside.
Whoa, Ricky gonna have to flash out of there. Gonna eat that last turret shot as well. Lucky to escape with his life. They're gonna get some heals back, luckily, but that Sejuani definitely cutting it close. And if you're Ricky, just want to make sure you keep that lead. Don't let Sejuani get any way back in the game. You're up 30 CS. You have probably over 1,000 gold lead at this point, or somewhere in that ballpark. Just start to snowball that top lane. And as you said, Dragowski has had to waste so much time in this bot lane for really no value. The Saints, they're doing such a good job of just dragging these resources, stretching them out over the rift right now. And this next dragon being up in 55 seconds, they're going to look to probably push in these lanes and set up for that as well. Oh, Rockman gonna have to flash away there. Early flash, gonna get charmed. Knockup gonna go through as well. He's gonna get taken out there. The Caitlyn gonna find that kill. Now he's trying to run for his life, or Dragowski is just going to back off for the time being, but it'll be a 1-0 for Florida. Definitely a kill they needed to have.
Yeah, it's a good play nonetheless. Majora in trouble.
Oh, Alonso with the blast pant is gonna save Majora. He's gonna walk into this drift pit though. He's gonna have to walk away. Alonso though, he's not gonna give up chase. He's gonna dash over that wall, hit another blast cone, keep traversing into that red side of the map. The race needs to be trying to take that recall, but Alonso, he can dash to that wall if he wants. Knock up under the tower though. Dragowski gonna help out there. Javi is gonna find that kill onto a race. So this bot lane for Florida Southern, they're trying to get it going, realizing this is going to be one of their keys to victory. They're doing a pretty good job these last 2 minutes.
Yeah, finally making Dragowski's time worth it on that bottom side of the map. You're able to get the Belveth a couple of stacks at the very least. Majora is trying to take Krugs.
Don't die to Krugs.
Should be fine. You know what? They should be fine because they get the passive. It doesn't proc off the medium Krugs. Nonetheless, it's just trying to take any resources out of Alonso's hand as possible. But you see, it's all these fights still going in favor of the Saints. Granted, Bakery Boy's got to be very careful here with Dragowski in the area. Alonso is wrapping around, though, and while Velvet is in her ultimate form, it's a little bit more difficult to take her down. But nonetheless, Alonso very strong, has that Gale Force, has the Swifties, as we mentioned. Just looking to rotate around this map as quickly as possible and try and get this tempo little bit quicker. They want to try and push the tempo of this pace.
Oh, Alonso gonna land the near sight, gonna have to back off. They're not wanting to give chase under that tower, especially after Bel'Veth was just in the vicinity. This Dragon now is up. Both teams looking to probably posture around this pit. Alonso and Bakery Boy gonna walk their way over to that pit. Rock Mini Race already trying to set up here, trying to get that vision going. The Saints, they are gonna start this Dragon. More than likely it will be a give for Florida Southern. I would be surprised if they were gonna contest this one, especially with all of these Saints in this mid lane. Ricky still just shoving in that top side, so excellent map control so far from St. Clair. They're gonna look to keep this one going as long as possible now.
Yeah, sort of just repaying the favor in a lot of senses. You know, a lot of Ontario teams were forced to play in Florida during the pandemic. You know, we're just going to take that Infernal Soul, or that Infernal Dragon at least, as a little bit of repayment in that situation. Nonetheless, Ricky on this top side, you know, with plates falling in 8 seconds here, Ricky just trying to get that last plate for himself and then maybe able to collect that turret. Of course, look at that gold lead, already 1,000 gold on that top side of the map. Granted, a lot of that gold is made up because of the Rift Herald that was put down. A lot of the plates went back the way of Majora, but realistically, you're putting gold onto the Sejuani. You don't really want that. You'd prefer that plate money to be going into the Bel'Veth. You prefer it to be going into the Caitlyn in a lot of those senses, but every role is down in gold at this point for the side of Florida Southern. They've really got to try and find some sort of cohesive engage, try and get some numbers advantage somewhere on the map to take advantage of that. That's exactly what they might be doing here.
Yeah, speaking of cohesive engage, they're going to touch up Ricky just a little bit. They're going to try to dive in. Caitlyn going to pop that R. Ricky going to eat that one, though, for breakfast. Now the Saints, maybe look to re-engage here, or at least just to get Ricky out of dodge there. Looks like Florida Southern going to take vision control of that pit. The Saints more than happy to just walk to this mid lane, try to crash in this wave, start to chip away at these towers now that the plates are down. Try to get these waves shoved in, take that far vision control. Looks like Florida Southern is going to stack up on that second rift, though. Maybe Alonso can try to go in for the steal here. The Saints, they are going to posture. It will be a 3v3 if they opt to try to get in there. Alonso, he's going to try to maybe get in there and get the steal. They're going to try to get in there. Smite fight is going to go through. Not sure exactly what team was able to get it, but there's a fight nonetheless. The Bel'Veth is going to get it. Ricky trying to give chase to Dekroski here. Lands the Q. One more attack. Ricky should be able to find that kill. The shuffle is going to save Bel'Veth's life. Jabby going to find a kill on that backside as well. Now Ricky in a pretty bad spot here. Going to try to get away. Use that E to try to get some space, but he's going to get tagged up by that Azir. Going to get dove on once more. That's going to be a double kill over to that Caitlyn Bakery Boy, trying to make it even on that backside. But Florida Southern, an excellent job to get that rift and get a couple kills out of it as well.
The biggest thing, though, is Dragowski doesn't get the Void Coral from the Rift Herald, so won't have that ultimate form for the extra amount of time. You know, it's 3 minutes when you pick up that Rift Herald. It's only a minute for every kill, so yes, they get a little bit of ultimate value out of it, but nonetheless... Boom, yeah, taking a couple too many tower shots there. Might actually have to back off. Ace in the hole not yet up, but while all of that is happening, Rockboom's able to pick up 2 bot lane towers, so now this Varus is sort of the king of the Rift Erase.
Oh, they're going to go for that dive. They are going to erase, exactly. Tongue-in-cheek, they're going to find it, though. Alonso maybe going to try to find one on the exit here, but he's going to have to skirmish around this Bel'Veth here. Jakowski being a thorn in Alonso's side, trying to body block there for Nebula. Going to tag up Alonso for his trouble as well, try to fix up this wave. Prevent another mid lane dive going. But Florida Southern, they've answered the call extremely well these last couple minutes, trying to even things up. Bakery Boy is going to have to flash away. He's going to go back into Majora. Who's going to find that kill? Bakery Boy, 1 tick left. He's going to find that kill onto the Sejuani. They were fighting. That was a dangerous fight for both, but luckily the Saints end up on the positive side. Jakowski can go in on Alonso, but going to back off Alonso, still trying to pressure Jakowski out of this jungle, though.
Yeah, really well played from Bakery Boy on that top side of the map there. You know, just dancing in and out of the range of Majora there. The chain at the very end was the thing that sealed the deal in a lot of ways, but overall, as you mentioned, yes, Florida Southern has done a great job of sort of putting the resources in the right place. This Caitlyn, you know, an item and a half now, she's going to be relatively strong, but think about how much Rockboom has gotten in return. While Caitlyn's able to pick up 600 gold from kills in that situation, you're able to pick up more than 600 gold on the bottom side of the map in towers, and that's going to be permanent gold going into favor of Rockboom. Granted, now this Varus has so much more onus to sort of carry the weight of the Saints right now, has a lot of that gold in their pockets. There, of course, 2 completed items, working towards that completed Manamune there with Miramana, but nonetheless now taking over this mid lane. It's just going to continue to try and push forward as many advantages as possible, and with no objectives up for another 80 seconds or so, we're most likely going to see a couple of resets come through, and maybe the fight breaks out around this Cloud Dragon here. It would be soul point for the side of the Saints, so of utmost importance for Florida Southern to show up here, make sure that they make their presence known.
Yeah, that'll be a nice early soul point too for the Saints. It'd probably be pre-20 minutes there, and then say they can maybe give the Saints some time. If the Baron does come up later, they can try to distract those resources. They can try to split that fight up. Rockboom still trying to shove in this midway. Bakery Boy going to be on that top side with Nebula. Rockboom Mini Race setting up this Bel'Veth. Clearly wants to go in over and over. Nebula getting tagged down a lot. Alonso easily going to finish the job there while Adam snickers away. But the Saints are going to find a kill nonetheless. They're going to try to shove this mid tower as well. Ricky just keeping that farm up on this bot side. Keeping that CS lead over the Sejuani. Already has that Riftmaker in tow as well. Bakery Boy proxying this wave out just a little bit. The Saints trying to start to take full map control here.
Yeah, they're just going to get this mid lane T1 as well. Paramore trying to go in.
Oh, going to go, and that's a big mistake by Paramore. No T1 teammates to back him up. Too much damage. Rockboom gonna find one. The TP's gonna come in backside. Drakowski's gonna fall. Rockboom still kicking with 1 HP. Majora's gonna fall as well, it seems, in just a second here. 5 Saints all stacked up. Majora gonna try to find that kill, though. Not gonna get that one through. That's gonna be an early ace for the Saints. That should end up being that dragon over their way as well. They are looking damn good now after that last couple minutes.
Yeah, and Majora tries to dive in there, but unfortunately the moon crashed down a little bit too early. The whole side of St. Clair were able to come through and close down that fight. It's an ace picked up by the Saints there. We talked about how well Florida Southern had that last fight around the last objective. This time around, they fight a little bit too early. They pull the trigger a little bit too quick. Unfortunately, too much damage taken there. Rock so much damage on this Varus right now. You can already see working towards that third item, and now you can just see how strong the side of the Saints are just individually as well. You know, a 60, 52, 53 CS lead on the top side. Don't do math on stream, kids.
Good math.
53 CS on the top side there, the CS lead for the Mordekaiser there. Even in the jungle there, so many camps ahead is Alonso here. I think 10 camps ahead at this point. Going to be increasing that as time goes on as well. And, you know, not opting for the Umbral Glaive sort of infinite ward build that we saw a lot at Worlds. It's a little bit more this aggressive Gale Force moving forward. Going to be building more towards that crit for them at this point. And now I believe, yep, there's the Collector coming through. So just trying to get as much damage out as possible. It's more of a solo queue-esque build, but it works in this situation. 5-0-4. It's been working in their favor.
Yeah, the spot lane has by far been the most even matchup. We saw that Caitlyn get a couple kills earlier. I believe she got a double, maybe a triple kill earlier. So if they're able to kind of stunt this Caitlyn, luckily Rockboom, the one problem they'd have to face is this Caitlyn, but Rockboom is already pretty far ahead of her, has that 40 CS lead, pretty much going to be up on items to the Saints. If they're able to take care of this Caitlyn, they have significant advantage across the board. This Graves already 5-0-4. Baker Boy doing his thing as we usually see. We've had 1 or 2 kills, a couple assists, not going to die in that early game. He has a great job of, you know, deciding when to go in, when do I have enough HP to take these fights, even if it's a 1 HP duel against Sejuani, but they seem to know exactly their limits. They've done a really good job of kind of pushing the envelope, but doing it intelligently and safely. This mid lane tower is going to fall to Rockboom. We're trying to get some poke damage back the other way, just going to miss out there.
And look at the gold that Rockboom has right now, almost cresting 10,000 at this point, and look at the gold difference between the two junglers. Belveth is a champion that does not do well from behind, but you can see how strong Alonso is at this point. You know, second richest member in the game. You know, almost. Oh, never mind.
Into the Shadow Realm goes Nebula. EQ going to land. The shuffle is going to go through, so Ricky get up to get away for the time being, but he's going to flash, go back in. Oh, Nebula's in a very, very bad way. That's going to be Alonso's 6th of the game. The Saints, they're looking to start to put the screws to Florida Southern here. Bakery Boy going to go and try to lock up this Belveth where she stands. The Saints trying to set up some kind of dive. Bakery Boy going to invest the flash there, but a little bit of an aggressive decision, but not going to find that kill. They're going to try to bully Florida Southern downside here. They're going to start this Baron nice and early. TP is going to come in backside of that Baron pit, though. They're going to be aware of that one. Maybe set up for the kill. Oh, Sejuani, very, very bad way. Majora running for his life right now. Going to hit the blast code back into the pit, but there's a bunch of hungry Saints waiting for the kill there. Bakery Boy going to be the one to pick that one up. Ricky, he's going to go gold, and the Saints are going to try to turn this fight and try to get this Baron now. Rockboom going to get some massive damage over onto Paramore there. The Saints, they are not going to give up on this Baron just quite yet. Florida Southern, they have such a hard time engaging, especially, say, having that Sejuani down, having your main front line being down that early. Going to spell doom for you. Nebula getting tagged up a lot. Oh, the Bakery Boy special, going to basically 100-0. That is your Ricky, though. Going to be caught in a pretty bad spot. Charm knockup going to come through. Ricky still trying to kick around, but Javi is going to end up finding that kill. Bakery Boy going to get out of dodge there, and so's Alonso. The Saints, though, still getting a couple kills. Having that Baron's going to be up, and then Soul Point in 2 minutes for him as well.
And I think the biggest lesson of that is just Majora is not tanky. It's deceptive tankiness, sort of in the wrong way in that situation. You know, has the Frostfire Gauntlet completed, has the makings of a Force of Nature there, but not quite complete there. But won't do anything against Rockboom at this point because of with how much lethality is coming through, with the % armor penetration that comes through on the Eclipse passive as well. This Sejuani is not tanky. It's all in her passive. It's all about that first hit where she's able to tank that up, and then afterwards she has to wait for it to come back up or try and get any sort of utility at the second half of that fight. So realistically, this Sejuani sort of baiting them in a little bit with how tanky she is, because it really just falls off after the beginning of that fight, and you can just see how strong Bakery Boy and Rockboom are doing at this point. Of course, the Sejuani is still going to be your frontliner in a lot of situations, but now the Belveth now forced to go into a little bit more of a defensive build, has the Frostfire for themselves as well, but even still, have this lethality Varus coming through, which will just slice through your resistances like butter with so much mid-priority right now. It's starting to come down to that 50-50 that you were talking about, the catch-22, where, you know, there's soul spawning in 75 seconds, there's Baron on the map. Side of Florida Southern are going to have to pick one or the other. you either give over Soul, which is a permanent buff, granted
Yep.
it is Cloud Soul, or you're giving over Baron, which could be the game.
Yeah, potentially. And that's the problem. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I really like that Ricky kind of rushed that Zhonya's as well. He knew that, hey, if I can just stay alive long enough in these fights, once my teammates catch up, we all have a lot of gold in our back pockets. We do a ton of damage. Bakery Boy gonna have Luden's gonna go for those double needlessly large rods. Varus obviously gonna have a couple items under his belt as well, and the Saints clinging to some pretty decent CS leads across the board as well. Look at that, Graves up 50 CS already. 6-0-5 Alonso piloting the champion beautifully. Ricky gonna try to go in. Paramore is gonna dodge away lots of damage in that mid lane though. The Saints, you can tell when they start to feel like, okay, we can take these guys out in a couple of shots, they start to only look for these setups and these fights, and I think they're gonna try to force Florida Southern soon to make that decision. Hey, stop us at the Baron or give us that soul point and live with the consequences.
Yeah. And the main thing is, while the Zhonya's is bad against the Caitlyn specifically, because you just put down a trap and then you're stuck, it does well because it stalls out time, as you were mentioning. There's so many stall tools coming through from the side of the Saints. LeBlanc is a stall tool in herself.
Yeah.
You know, she's just able to jump over that wall, now jump back over, wasting Majora's ult as well. Bakery Boy is in trouble, but should be able to get out.
Yeah, Bakery Boy is going to dash away there, has that blue buff at least. Yeah, gonna send the chains up. Majora wants no part of that. Just had to show there, trying to get back for that 1v1 earlier, not forgetting about that one. The Saints still shoving in this mid wave, trying to keep the pressure on Ricky. Waltzing around here top side as he usually does, just shoving that wave in, trying to get this Baron pit cleared. Bakery Boy is going to take that recall, finish that Rabadon's death cap. He's going to pack an absolute wall up, 8 stacks in that Dark Seal as well. So typical Bakery Boy special, going for those 100 to zeros, get in, get out, hands clean. Ricky trying to sit up on this top side. Maybe they try to stop this Baron, but Nebula, you know, little dance party in that top side, but just trying to make sure nothing's going on. But this bottom side, though, this is going to be a free soul for the Saints, and now they can put their eyes on that Baron as well.
It can't be a catch-22 if you don't opt for the other option in that situation, where it's just give over the soul for nothing in that sense. Realistically, no way for Dragowski to get anywhere close. They didn't have the setup for that. You know, you didn't have the Sejuani ultimate there. The Azir was topside with no teleport.
Yeah.
You sort of lose out on the resource battle in that situation, and you just have to give over that soul. Granted, it does mean that they're going to have an Elder Flip potential in 5.5 minutes here, but are they going to be able to last that long in this game? We'll have to find out.
So they got to survive the Elder fight, too. Sometimes that if the Saints aren't chunking that thing down, that thing's health is going to kick up for a long time. Florida Southern, they definitely cannot take a 5v5 against St. Clair right now. There is far too much one-shot potential for those squishies, and if they take out that Caitlyn, honestly, there ain't a whole lot of damage coming from any of these other sources. The Sejuani, not really going to do a whole lot for you. Belveth in her current state, not really going to do much. She's so far behind the Saints. They're going to invade this topside jungle. Bakery Boy in, out in a flash. He's going to find that kill. Saints picking up an easy kill there. That should open up the Baron for them. Going to be a 25.5-minute Baron. Already have that soul in tow. The Saints, if I know them, they're going to take this Baron, and they're going to look to find that win condition.
Yeah, and the safety in the jungle is all smoke and mirrors for Bakery Boy there. He's just able to find the pick nonetheless. Teleport going to be coming through from Majora here. Baron's down to about 7k, but looks like the fight's going to happen first.
Yeah, Saints going to let that Baron go. They're going to get lots of damage over. Oh, Dragowski trying to find that kill. Saints going to flash out of there to safety. Rock Boom still ticking away. Alonso's going to go godlike and find that kill. Majora in a very bad spot. Sejuani hung out to dry. Going to flash into the wall. Ooh. Very unfortunate. She will dash over. Double kill for Alonso. Ricky going to find one as well. That's going to be a bunch of Florida Southern members dead. Majora trying her best to get away here. Bakery Boy going to be a thorn in the side, though. Chains are going to come out. Root comes through, and Bakery Boy is going to find this kill. Holding my breath still. 1 HP. Bakery Boy is going to give up. Nebula, though, is going to get chased out. Here's Ricky to help, though. Oh, Flash is there. Going to find that kill. Beautiful job, Ricky, though. Shuffle's going to come through to stop him off. Alonso, he's not done out for blood yet. He's going to find another one. Legendary for Alonso. The Saints should now be getting the Baron and should now be looking to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely incredible team fighting coming through from the side of the Saints there. Just dancing around the edges there. Erase survived that entire fight with like 20% HP or less the entire time. You know, just always being able to stay just out of range. And Alonso with the triumph, getting a couple of bumps there at the end, just barely able to stay alive. But now full health. Now this is the power of Graves in that sense. And now you get Baron on to 4 members there. Yes, you would prefer to have that on Bakery Boy in the side lane, but nonetheless, you have such a strong potential now for this team to just end the game. 11,000 gold lead. This Baron's going to lead them right up to right before that Elder as well. So while you're not going to get those bonus stats, then you'll be able to have all of those bonus stats for the prep for it, for all the setup. And at this point, for the side of Florida Southern, they need a miracle because 11,000 gold down. A lot of the gold is on this Caitlyn, who just keeps getting dove over and over again. You know, this LeBlanc 2.5 items. They're really difficult to deal with, and even then, you get caught with a chain of corruption on one member. If it spreads to that Caitlyn, she's going to be donezo as well.
And you can see Bakery Boy, every time he goes in to fight one of these members, they are running for the hills, looking for any teammate, yelling out for help. Bakery Boy trying to chim away our rock boom, trimming away at this wave. The Saints now going to use that Baron, exactly like you said, try to shove in all these waves, get them as close to that Nexus as possible, and then maybe make Elder a little bit easier on them, but they are going to definitely use this soul, use these Baron buffs. Ricky trying to shove in this top side, going to land the E over to Nebula. Saints still shoving in this mid-side rock boom, a threat, absolutely. absolutely in this mid lane. So much damage output for the Saints already. They're going to take away that mid tower with ease. All Erase going to get dove on by the Sejuani. Great route going to come through. Going to buy Erase some time to get out of dodge there. The Saints, they're going to send 4 into this mid lane. They're going to keep trying to shove into this Nexus as much as possible. They have Nebula on that top side trying to hold Bakery Boy. Ships passing in the night. Gonna hit the blast. Oh, he's gonna go all the way in though. Trying to find the full combo. Chain's gonna land on Drakowski. He's gonna get rooted. Ricky gonna land the E as well. Gonna land that Q2, but not gonna find that kill nonetheless. They're gonna get some damage output at least. Back off that Belveth. But Jor gonna try to go in, find some damage onto Ricky. He's gonna get tagged down to half HP though. Ricky standing in this front line, fearless as the Mordekaiser. That turret's gonna fall. The Saints looking toward this middle inhibitor now, which will open up that map significantly for them. They have the Elder in 2 minutes. They might play a little bit safe now. Wait for that Elder to spawn, but I would not be surprised to see some kind of dive here, as you said though. This bot lane has some action going as well. The Saints are going to turn their attention to that bot side wave, get as much shove as they can, and as we said, Elder and a $150, which would pretty much guarantee them the game.
Yeah, and overall, it's just been very methodical coming through. Bakery Boy just so confident going over that wall to get any sort of poke damage. Fairmore on the back line.
Oh, massive fight. Knock up, going to land a couple members. Ricky is going to go golden there. The Saints trying to turn this fight now. Ricky going to fall to Nebula. The Azir picking up a kill. Bakery Boy sitting at about half HP. So Florida Southern, great job to take out that front line or get the Zonia's burn for possibly next fight. Now Rockboom trying to find the angle with this arrow. Bakery Boy always looking, always limit testing on that LeBlanc, trying to find some damage. Will get out of there in time though. The Saints trying to shove in that bot side. Not going to work though. 5 members of Florida Southern gonna hold strong, and as the time ticks down to this Elder, only a minute 20 now. The Saints, I wonder if they're gonna do the old fake out here. Majora doesn't know what she's walking into.
No.
Oh, that's gonna be a world of hurt. Half HP gone already. Alonso should be able to find this kill. 1 or 2 more attacks. There it is. Alonso gonna find his 10th kill in a row. 10-0-7 on this Graves. 17 out of 21 kill participation, Alonso. As we usually see on his Ivern or his other champions, it feels like there's 2 of him running around the Rift.
Yeah, dude's just flexing on him at this point. You know, Graves is the imposter, and the rest of Florida Southern are the kids running away screaming. Little niche reference there. No, it's Among Us VR is great. Regardless, I digress at that point. Of course, Elder is spawning in 40 seconds here. Bakery Boy is just consistently stopping these resets from coming through. And this buys more time because Dragowski needs to reset. They don't have the health to do this. And Ricky is just a thorn in the side as you're talking about. 30 seconds away from this. Dragowski's not going to be there when this Elder spawns, and this is all but given over to the side of St. Clair. Bar a miracle steal, it feels like.
Yeah, the Saints, that was a good job too. They just killed 20-25 seconds probably of them getting up there. One simple Mordekaiser E and one simple Bakery Boy going in. The Saints are still posturing in this bot side jungle though. They are out for blood today, and honestly, I kind of love to see it. They're going to get spotted out though. That trinket going to be the death of them in that little play there, but nonetheless, they're going to maybe set up for this Elder. Kate going to send that R down that mid lane to Bakery Boy. He's going to be very low on HP. Never scared to go in though. The Saints are going to get turned on though. Ricky going to get stunned up in a world of hurt. He's going to get tagged down. Still trying to go kick in the landing that Q on the Majora. Ricky going to have to get out of here. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. That Zonia is still not up yet. The Saints, they are turning this fight on its head. Rockboom, so much damage output for the Southern. They're not trying to give away this Elder too easily though. They realize this is probably their one and only win condition, and they are going to die trying on this hill. The Saints, they're going to try to posture out here. That TP is going to come in backside as well. For the Southern, this is going to be the fight they want to take. They want this Elder flip. They need it to win this game more than likely as well.
Yeah, and Ricky with that Cloud Soul is so fast in the death zone. You're just able to pop that and you're sprinting around there. So difficult to lock down the Mordekaiser. Probably the best champion with Cloud Soul. Nebula, that's a lot of damage already taken. Nebula is out of the fight, has that teleport to get back in here, but it's just an Elder dance. They're dancing around this objective. They don't need to come in. Baker Boy in the back line.
Baker Boy gonna flash and find the kill. The Saints are gonna start to turn this fight now. Gonna get the flash away into Sejuani. Baker Boy gonna take out the kill on Yavi. Alonso and Rockboom picking up a couple kills as well. The Saints are trying to end this fight before it can begin. Nebula down to 1 HP, gonna tagged up. Erase gonna find the kill, gonna get on the board for the support there. The Saints are not giving up. A double for Erase, gonna get a few kills for himself. That's gonna be an ace for the Saints, the Nexus, and the base. They are gonna take game 1. They are 1 game off booking their ticket to Philadelphia to play on land.
Such a great performance coming through from the Saints, and it felt as if they had control from the get-go there. A strong early game transitions into an equally strong mid game into this late game juggernaut that is so difficult to deal with. Such a strong performance coming through from the side of the Saints, and they are 1 game away from going to land.
Yeah, we know they're feeling good about that man. Alonso, this guy is so good at playing jungle. It's honestly a treat to watch him. Like I jokingly said, feels like there's 2 of him. This guy is like an mobile artillery unit, especially on that Graves. We saw him causing absolute mayhem in all these lanes. Bakery Boy doing exactly what we expect out of him. Like I usually say, he's got like a 5-0-2 stat line, just one-shotting, always being that thorn in the side. The Saints, they didn't want to let any of those recalls go unpunished. That eventually, Florida Southern, they knew they had to try to flip the Elder. The Saints, though, they were more worried about that team fight, and they absolutely rolled it.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Florida Southern, they had some of those resources in the right spot, but the rest of the map was bleeding out a little bit too much. That top side of the map just wasn't able to get it going. We look at the score sheets here, and that top side ends up being, 2-19 overall. It's just a lot of damage coming through from Alonso that was able to sort of shut them down in that situation. And unfortunately for Majora, for Dragowski on that top side, they weren't able to really make that Sejuani Belveth combo work in the same way, and it was just too much damage coming through. You can see Erase is the only person who's like comparable damage at that point. Mordekaiser's flying above there. Look at the Varus damage coming through. This is why this champion has been so highly touted. You got the Guma steals at Worlds. You can see how that happens because this champion does so much damage. It is so strong, but overall, I think that Florida Southern, they've got some things that they can work off of. That Caitlyn had a very strong performance nonetheless, but overall, I think that we have a little bit of a series on our hand. If anything, the Saints are definitely looking strong thus far already.
Yeah, and this is the comp we expected they would run out with now. The interesting thing we always see between games, we've seen games where it's 10 different champions. I wouldn't suspect we'll see that this time, especially knowing what's on the line. But if you're Florida Southern, you played a lot of meta stuff, and it was blown up right back in your face at the end of that Alonso shotgun. So they're going to have to go back to that whiteboard, retool, regroup. If they want to have a chance to go to Philly, they're going to have to reverse sweep the Saints or take 2 in a row. But with that being said, we are going to throw it to a very quick break, let the players reset, get back into draft after, see if Florida Southern can answer the bell for this last round. The Saints 1 game off going to LAN. But Rockman's going to push them right back. And both teams, they're getting a little dangerous with these trades.
And the main thing to keep in mind, oh boy.
Oh, Ricky, beautiful job. Outside the same spot side. Have to be careful, Belveth. Walking through that tri-brush right now. Maybe trying to set up some sort of play here. Get Rockman and Erase behind the scorecards here. Looks like they might try something here. Belveth going to walk over top side here. Oh, Rockman and Erase are in a very deep spot. Erase going to have the Ignite go on. Is going to flash up, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Paramore is going to find that kill on Erase. Now Rockman going to get some teammate back up here from Alonso. They're going to send Florida Southern back the other way. Maybe trying to possibly find a kill. If they get lucky here, Flash is going to go through lots of damage. They're able to find that kill. Alonso's going to pick one up. Double knockup, going to save the rest.
On to end that Ruby Crystal already complete. Going to take Majora down to the death realm. Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
Oh, Alonso and Ricky teaming up on Majora here. She's walking the wrong way though. Ricky going to land a couple stacks here. Oh, Majora going the very wrong way near sight. Alonso coming up as well. That shotgun in tow. Majora getting tanked down. Alonso's for that 8-minute mark. Now the Rift is going to be up. It looks like there's going to be a contest for it. Bakery Boy getting into 2v1 here. He's going to try to find some damage on Nebula. Rakan going to miss that knockup. Paramore not going to get anything. The Saints maybe going to try to steal this Rift Herald away as well. Dragowski going to be very low on HP. That Rift going to get spited out. Alonso going to try to find these kills though. Dragowski, he's going to fall. The Saints are trying to go marching here. Double root going to come through. Bakery Boy. The shuffle's not going to be enough. That's a double for Rock Boom. That's going to be 3. A triple. Dragon being up in 55 seconds. They're going to probably pushing these lanes and set up for that as well. Rock Boom got the flash away. The early flash going to get charmed. Knockup going to go through as well. He's going to get taken out there. The Caitlyn going to find that kill. Now Erase trying to run for his life for Dragowski. It's just fight is going to go through. Not sure exactly what team was able to get it, but there's a fight nonetheless. The Belveth is going to get it. Ricky trying to give chase to Dragowski here. Lands the Q. One more attack. Ricky should be able to find that kill. The shuffle is going to save Belveth's life. Jabby going to find a kill on that backside as well. Now Ricky in a pretty bad spot here. Going to try to get away. Use that E to try to get some space, but he's going to get tagged up by that Azir. Going to get dove on once more. That's going to be a double kill over to that Caitlyn. Bakery Boy trying to make it even extremely well these last couple minutes, trying to even things up. Bakery Boy is going to flash away. He's going to go back into Majora. Who's going to find that kill? Bakery Boy, 1 tick left. He's going to have to take full map control here.
Yeah, they're just going to get this mid lane T1 as well. Paramore trying to go in.
Oh, gonna go, and that's a big mistake by Paramore. No teammates to back him up. Too much damage. Rockboom gonna find one. The TP's gonna come in backside. Drakowski's gonna fall. Rockboom still kicking with 1 HP. Majora's gonna fall as well, it seems, in just a second here. 5 Saints all stacked up. Majora gonna try to find that kill, though. Not gonna get that one through.
You know, just able to jump over that wall, now jump back over. Wasting Majora's ult as well. Vagrant Boy is in trouble, but should be able to get out.
Yeah, Vagrant Boy is gonna dash away. There has that blue buff leads. Yeah, gonna set the chains up. Majora wants no.
Nonetheless, teleport gonna be coming through from Majora here. Baron's down to about 7k, but looks like the fight's gonna happen first.
Yeah, Saints gonna let that Baron go. They're gonna get lots of damage over. Oh, Drakowski trying to find that kill. Saints gonna flash out of there to safety. Rockboom still ticking away. Alonso's gonna go godlike and find that kill. Majora in a very bad spot. Sejuani hung out to dry. Gonna flash into the wall. Very unfortunate. She will dash over. Double kill for Alonso. Ricky gonna find one as well. That's gonna be a bunch of Fortnite Southern members dead. Majora trying her best. This is gonna be the fight they want to take. They want this Elder Flip. They need it to win this game more than likely as well.
Yeah, and Ricky with that Cloud Soul is so fast in the death zone. You're just able to pop that. You're sprinting around there. So difficult to lock down the Mordekaiser. Probably the best champion with Cloud Soul. Nebula, that's a lot of damage already taken. Nebula is out of the fight, has that teleport to get back in here, but it's just an Elder dance. They're dancing around this objective. They don't need to come in. Vagrant Boy in the back line.
Vagrant Boy gonna flash and find the kill. The Saints are gonna start to turn this fight now. Gonna get the flash away into Sejuani. Vagrant Boy gonna take out the kill on Yavi. Oh, long fight in the sky there, but Rockwood's gonna poke them right back. And both teams, they're getting a little dangerous with these trades.
And the main thing to keep in mind, oh boy.
Oh, Ricky, beautiful job outside the same spot side. Have to be careful, Velvet. Walking through that tri-brush right now. Welcome back in, everybody, from that very, very short break. Saints varsity against Florida Southern. That spot with the NACE land on the line going to Philadelphia. The Saints, they did take game one in pretty convincing fashion. We had a pretty even back and forth early game, but slowly but surely the Saints, specifically I think Alonso was probably my player of the game last game, just navigated the jungle extremely well. The Saints, they really snowballed that early lead, got that 4-0 soul, took Barron around 25 minutes, and then it was pretty much all but death's door for the side of Florida Southern. The Saints did put them away. Now, though, we're going into game two where everything might change, or it could all end up being the same. We are going to see Aatrox, the first one taken out of this game.
Yeah, and I think for the side of the Saints, they don't need to change their bans at all. You know, coming off of a victory, you don't have any pressure to show anything. You don't have to change your bans in that situation. The Lily are going to be taken away from Dragowski. Dragowski's played, 500 games of Lily on solo queue from what we saw there. So, I mean, it could be more on different accounts, but nonetheless, you can see the Varus going to be taken off the table as well. Really, really strong from Rockboom last game. I would say immensely so. And, you want to take that, you want to nib the problem in the bud there and just take that away. Of course, as we expect, Saints not going to change any of their bans. Yeah,
and we've seen Rockboom, not just last game, his Varus has been unstoppable. The second that Caitlyn became extremely meta, the Saints, willing to handshake that one over. Rockboom has won almost every single matchup against that Caitlyn. The Saints haven't really lost too many games the last while anyway, so it makes sense. We're going to see that Graves ban away. They do not want a repeat performance of last time. They said, Alonso, we're taking this thing away. We're going to put you on something else now.
Yeah, and of course the Udyr ban going to come through as well, just taking away the sort of 1 and 2 champions out of Dragowski there. But realistically, it's probably Caitlyn first pick again. I don't think that was the issue coming through in terms of what the mocks were pulling out. And of course, Caitlyn going to be picked up. I mean, no surprise really. If we think about what the meta has sort of dictated in that sense, Caitlyn first pick is what you will always take, and you just got to figure out the rest of the pieces around it. Granted, with the Varus banned out, it's a little bit of a different look on the bottom side.
That's a different look.
That's definitely a different look indeed. A wise choice as the Heimerdinger is opted into here.
I'm not sure. Have we seen a race on the Heimerdinger?
No.
I don't think that we have, so we're going to see a whole new champion. We're going to see Heimerdinger Ashe bot lane, so something the Saints have definitely not pulled out the last couple weeks unless there's something I'm unaware of. I'm sure they've been working on it in the back. Those guys are always expanding their champion pools. They always trying to play a bunch of different champions for the situation to call upon, but definitely going to see a wrinkle. That's what we said. Are we going to see the same comp, or are we going to see a total change up in strategy? And that Bel'Veth now going to come through, maybe thinking, okay, Graves, hopefully the early game won't be as rough because that Bel'Veth got behind and she could just never catch up.
Yeah, she was never really able to do much in that game, and Dragowski, unfortunately, ended up being a little bit more of a liability as the game progressed there. The Karma pickup for the side of Florida Southern there, no surprise, because as I mentioned, it gives you so much lane priority, and realistically, into a Heimerdinger, if you're picking a melee support, you are inting, and I will say that fair and square there. It's a tough matchup nonetheless, even for the Karma, because of how annoying Heimerdinger is. You have so much lane control, and of
annoying
course,
is a good word for it.
Annoying's the only word I can say on broadcast without, facing the penalties of it, we'll put it that way, but nonetheless, the LeBlanc going to get picked up as well. A very good pick. Interesting to see it picked up blind, though. They're willing to ban out some of these LeBlanc counter picks and instead opt for the pool of Alonso specifically. They get pinched a little bit here. They're okay with that. Yeah,
and Bakery Boy, I mean, he's picked LeBlanc into every possible matchup, I'm sure. It's definitely has been his one trick, his main champion even before he came over to St. Clair. So something we know he can navigate around anything. We're going to see the Lysandra get banned out for the side of the Saints. So very curious to see, what are we going to see from Ricky? We haven't seen the Jax ban yet, so maybe something to think about. We haven't seen either top laner picked yet. That Nocturne going to be banned out as well. Take some mobility out of the Saints. Or knowing Alonso, he's going to try to get around that rift as much as possible, at least take some away there. But we still have a couple picks left to go through. I am very curious to see the Saints already going for a different look. Curious to see how they're going to round this one out. Going to see that Vex band out for the rest of the Saints there.
Yeah, I think mid lane bans make sense. Lysandra Vex going to really shut down the LeBlanc, really take away her agency. They have a little bit more wave push as well. Curious to see what they opt to take away from side of Florida Southern here. Seems to be the Mordekaiser going to be taken off the table, so no more throwing them down into Southern Hemisphere countries. No more joking that anymore, but nonetheless, I think we're going to see a jungle pickup here. Very curious to see what Alonso pulls out. Actually, yeah, it's the Jarvan picked up there, so gives you a little bit more early game focus as well in that sense. You're able to push forward the envelope a little bit with the early ganks. The Jarvan gank path is technically just red, mid,
go,
and then bot lane, and then top lane, and just gank as much as possible. So going to be a little bit of sinning coming through from the side of Jarvan here. But Ornn is picked up
nice and safe.
Nice and safe on that top side of the map. You don't know what you're playing into. If Sejuani didn't work for you, Ornn basically the other option. Yeah,
Ornn should definitely be a champion where you're maybe not going to win or lose the lane, but you should be able to at least hold your own, be safe. I mean, that was the thought with the Sejuani. Obviously, things went a little bit sideways there, but they're going to feel comfortable on that Ornn. Haven't seen Ari actually in a while. I know she kind of got nerfed or fell out of the meta just a little bit, but nice to see her back in that mid lane for Florida Southern. Going to be the answer to that LeBlanc. At least give you a little more mobility, a little more get out of jail free, at least try to land those charms. And we're going to see the good old fashioned Ricky Darius come through.
Yeah, the Darius going to be coming through as if, Ricky's performance last game being as annoying in the back line wasn't enough. It was already misery business there for Paramore trying to get into these fights and just getting thrown down into the death realm or anything to come around there. But, that's what you get when you mess with the Saints in that situation, nonetheless.
Oh, my goodness. Get to the game, please.
Nonetheless, speaking on that top side, Ornn going to be coming through, just taking off the mask of the Sejuani, picking up another tank there with another mask. Jhin, not going to be sure.
No,
but nonetheless, you're going to have to do something if you're on this top side as Majora alongside Dragowski here. You need to sort of stabilize that out a little bit. We talked about how weak that top side of the map was for Florida Southern last time around, but the Moccasins have definitely got something else in the back pocket here. They're not going to go down without a fight here. And this Ahri, it's a very niche pickup into the likes of LeBlanc. You can stop her distortion forward with your charm. You just have to have really good timing. If anything, you have as much, if not more mobility than the LeBlanc, so you have some ways to sort of dance around these fights. It's really something that says, I am trying to outplay the likes of Bakery Boy there. Granted, it's a very difficult task. Yeah,
and I'm going to say, I'm going to go quick little prediction here. I'm going to say because the Ricky Darius special, he's going to end up pulling off that Philly special for all my football fans out there. Hate the Eagles still. Darius, though, coming out Ricky, every single time he picks up this champ, it's always a sight to behold, dunking on people left and right. So I'm going to say the Saints are going to take this one. They're going to book their ticket to Philly. I know they've got to be feeling good backstage after game one. That's the thing with League, though. This game could get turned on its head. Things could go awry in the first 5 minutes, and they could be playing catch-up. But Florida Southern now, especially in desperation mode, they know they have to have this one. They've come this close to making it to land, but they're going to have to get over that one final hump.
Yeah, and I think overall it's really going to come down to whether the Florida Southern College team can get together, sort of put everything into the right hands and get the resources in the right spots here. But unfortunately, NACE, sometimes they get stepped on here, and unfortunately, the Moccasins haven't really been able to bite back in this situation. But onto the Rift we go here. Interesting to see the rune choices once again. You see the Conqueror coming through for Alonso, so really wanting to have these sort of drawn-out fights alongside the Conqueror as well on the top side, not going for the phase rush in that situation. Of course, Belveth going to opt for the Conqueror herself. Nothing too crazy in that regard. It's more so just sort of side options. Sometimes you'll see the phase rush come through on the likes of a Darius if they want to get even more movement speed. Lethal Tempo on the Ashe makes a whole lot of sense here. And of course, going to have the Comet to be as annoying as possible for a race on that bottom side of the map. Basically, the goal of Heimerdinger is to be really annoying in lane and just prevent Javi from getting any sort of room to move in that situation. And of course, taking the fleet footwork again, now forced to even take the cleanse as well. Belief took that last game as well, but it's a necessity against the likes of this Heimerdinger.
Yeah, Heimerdinger Ashe is designed to kill your enemies from cringe and possibly boredom, not being able to play the video game, but that could be a mental strategy as much as a mechanical one as well. So I kind of like this wrinkle from the Saints. I'm confident enough in them with how many different champions and comps they've played that they are going to... Whoa! Belveth was in a world of trouble there for a second, luckily recalling at the perfect second Alonso. Even earlier than that level 2 gank, he wanted that level 1 play, but the Saints weren't going to find it. And now we should get underway. Your Bakery Boy, though, not going to shy away from these early trades. Got to watch those electrocute procs. So race taken down to 1/4 HP already. Not going to be the trade he was looking for to kick things off for the Saints. They don't want to give up too much priority on this bot side early. Kate Karma, not going to be fun to hang with.
And by the looks of it, it seems as if they were prepared for what the Heimerdinger wanted to do. You want to put your turrets in all 3 of those bushes to really put the lane pressure in your control. Not going to be in the greatest of positions now, granted. Arace just going to be able to regen up here, of course. Being able to chill around those turrets. You get so much movement speed as well around your turrets, so you can just sort of dodge away from a lot of these skill shots that come through. As well, you can use your turrets to eat some skill shots as well, granted. Not the ace in the hole, but stuff like the Karma Q, the inner flare and everything. You're going to be in good shape in that regard as well.
Yeah, Race and Rockboom going to try to get this early shove Race. Going to place those turrets, and there's the annoyance. Just poke, 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 Bakery Boy. Going to get that electrocute proc onto the Ahri there. Try to always be on the positive side of those trades. He is going to hit that level 2 first. Maybe get a little bit of priority here. Nebula going to try to play safe this game, realizing Bakery Boy, he's a menace. He is a psycho. He will go for any trade at any time, even if he's low on HP. So maybe Florida Southern, knowing that now, play a little more conservative. Bakery Boy, look at that immediately. Going to go all in. Even if he's going to take damage, he will take a punch to give one. And that's kind of the fun thing about watching these Saints play.
And now, Erase just back up to full health and even burned both of the pots off of Paramore as well. So a little bit more challenging on that bottom side of the map for this Karma to exist. These turrets just going to come down. You get a couple of Southeast procs at that, and then Erase is just able to back off every single time. Granted, this lane is going a lot better than expected, I want to say, from the Caitlyn Karma here. They have as much push back the opposite way as opposed to last game. But look at this invade coming through. Dragowski's in so much trouble.
Oh, he is going to smite to get HP back. Is going to have to flash over the wall. Alonso, though, as we said, getting early action on that Jarvan, realizing just like last game, if you can get this Belveth behind, you can maybe start to manhandle and take advantage of the game, but is at least going to get the flash burn. Good little combo there from Nebula. Going to land the charm and the W and the Q all on Bakery Boy there, so going to get a nice trade. Ricky Typical Darius fashion. Gonna try to shove in this wave, find this damage onto Majora. He did a great job controlling the pace last game. Gonna try to repeat that performance on potentially his best champ. It's either his Darius or his Jax to my money, so he's gonna be feeling very, very comfortable. The Ornn, though, gonna be a tough pick to get that one-shot capability, just too tanky early on.
And I think Majora is in a decent spot this time around on the Ornn. Granted, you're scaling in a can, you're basically gonna scale regardless of what happens. You're gonna be in good shape. So I think that in this situation, Ricky really needs to start to dominate this lane early as possible, which does potentially require the likes of Alonso to come up to that top side, give them just a little bit more of a shove in the right direction there, maybe burn the flash of Majora, and then he can go for that solo kill. Granted, we'll see how this Ornn plays, because right now, it's a lot more even than you'd expect in this lane, especially from a Darius, but I think that's just Majora feeling a little bit more confident on the Ornn this time around. Of course, with the wave bouncing back, that CS lead is going to grow back in favor of Ricky, but look at the fight on the bottom side.
Oh, Rockboom gonna get chained up here. It's gonna avoid the stun. Paramore still trying to find that kill onto Erase. Rockboom, though, gonna try to turn this one. Maybe he can land a couple abilities here. Gonna try to keep proccing that Q. Gonna land a lot of damage here. Yeah, oh, and the Heimerdinger. Erase gonna snipe out that kill. Rockboom gonna find one. The bot lane is gone. The Saints are gonna pick up 2 kills. Heimerdinger gonna get that first blood. Nonetheless, though, the Saints picking up a pair of kills. Wave in a decent spot as well. Exactly how you want to get started. Putting those kills onto this bot lane. We know it spells impending doom usually, so see if they can carry this lead now.
Yeah, great 2v2 kill. They're really unexpected in a lot of ways. As we said, you know, Caitlyn Karma going to have a lot more lane control here, and unfortunately, they just pushed that a little bit too far. Topside, though, this is trouble.
Oh, Ricky gonna go in a little bit too far there. Bel'Veth gonna walk up. Majora is gonna end up finding that kill, so trying to get that Ornn head early and often. Majora tagged down very low. Alonso was waiting in that top side tri-bush, but not gonna go in there and dive that 2v1. Just gonna help fix up this wave. We're gonna see that Ornn recall pick up an item or two here. Try to get ahead of this Darius. Now, knowing that Ricky, especially, having that Darius snowball early can be a very big problem, and when your bot side gets taken out like that, you have to make it up elsewhere, so they do a very good job to at least get a kill back there.
Yeah, and the kill going over to Majora is okay here. I think realistically, that's who they're going to be going up against for the most of that lane. You need to try and get the gold onto the Ornn to just stabilize as much as possible, but nonetheless, you can see this bot lane
so annoying.
So annoying to deal with. Exactly as you mentioned, you know, the nude cover already complete. Erase has a giant spell the first back. Imagine how annoying that is. You know, it's just 300 extra health on this Heimerdinger, as if it wasn't annoying enough. Not even going for any offensive stats. It's death by 1,000 cuts at that, or death by 1,000 mini turret shots there at the very least. So overall, Erase just being as annoying as possible. You know,
love to see it.
That's exactly what you expected of a Heimerdinger. You know, the champion's like a rat.
Go ahead, slander Heimerdinger.
Yeah, the champion's literally a rat. Like, that's what it is. How old are they canonically in Arcane? Like 312? That's an old rat just chilling around on this boss side.
He's wise. Wise beyond his years. Well, he's 300 years old. But
he's probably wise at his years.
Yes, to be fair, yeah. We're going to see an early potential dive for the Southern. Maybe get a posture. This Drakowski trying to wait in this bush, seeing if the Saints are going to try to get this shove going back the other way. They're going to get a good amount of damage in there. They're going to get dove under tower here just a little bit. They're going to maybe try to set something up Drakowski. He's going to go in, maybe Erase. Going to back off just for the time being. So Drakowski still trying to kick around here and find this angle, but that bot lane of his is pretty low on HP. Those trades might be a little bit tricky there, Rockboom, especially if they keep getting tagged up here. Now Drakowski's going to get tagged up as well. Rockboom and Erase now going. Flash going to go through. Going to miss that knockup. Rockboom's going to take the ignite, though. He's going to get taken out by the Bel'Veth. The Saints are going to dive all the way in, though. Alonso going to land the knockup and find that kill in return. Beautiful job. Erase going to flash. Is going to get that flash out of the support, though. So Paramore and Erase going to trade some flashes there, but the Saints are going to end up with that kill back anyways.
Yeah, it's a little bit overzealous from the side of Rockboom. They're flashing forward to try and continue the slows, and I think a little bit slow on the rotation coming through from Alonso as well. I think they wanted to try and bait out a flash forward, if anything, but Drakowski just hanging out there. You knew exactly what you were getting into going into a 3v2. Yeah. You didn't have your jungler there quite yet, maybe a little bit of a miscommunication. So overall, a good trade in favor of Florida Southern. They're going to be able to push this lane in as well, but Javi's a little bit overextended.
Yeah, Alonso going to dive in. They're going to land the knockup. He's going to flash away there. Going to try to find the kill. Not going to quite reach in time, though, Alonso. Not going to lose too much health for his trouble. Is going to at least get a summoner spell burn there as well. So going to be no sum spot. You're spam pinging that one, Alonso. He's going to be aware that Rockboom does have that ghost available pretty much as well. So they might be able to have some playmaking ability. Ricky waiting patiently in the wings here on this top side, waiting for Majora to overstep just a little bit. Ricky just going to catch this wave, though. Going to step back. The Saints are going to take this first dragon, though, so great job once again. Just playing around the map, Alonso, at least showing his face in enough locations. Ash Arrow, not going to... Oh, that was the Saints, Ash Arrow. Yeah, I was going to say, not going to get the vision, but the Saints are going to get what they want. Their bakery boy. But a pretty nothing burger in this mid lane, which as to be expected with Ari and LeBlanc, both kind of similar characters in a weird way, so not really going to go one way or the other just yet. The Saints trying to find pressure on the spot side more than likely, though.
Yeah, and if Bakery Boy is the nothing burger there on the flip side, you know, Nebula's the none pizza left beef, you know, just one CS down, just having a little bit of trouble keeping up there. But nonetheless, it's effectively even. This is a little bit more of a worry point, though, because now this Bel'Veth's going to be able to get that Void Coral, be in that Nope, that chest for 3 extra minutes there. Gonna be feeling a little bit better about themselves. But look at this, Erase is coming up here. Level 5 doesn't have that ultimate quite yet, which can be so annoying around these objectives.
Yep.
But look at the rotations. Everyone's up here. Dragowski, they've got to be really careful of this play now.
Oh, Dragowski, he's going to go all the way into Saints. They're not able to connect quite yet, though. Rockboom going to take a couple hits there. Oh, Rift Herald is going to get stashed away. There lots of damage going through. Bakery Boy trying to chip away from this backside. Dragowski, 1 HP. The shield's going to just keep him up. Nebula is going to find that kill under Rockboom. Alonzo's going to fall too. Javi going to pick that one up, and now Erased in a very, very bad way. Going to get knocked up trying to pick away this kill at Paramore. Not going to find it, though. That's going to be 3 for 0 for Florida Southern, and it will be that Rift Herald as well. So a perfect play topside for them.
In just a little bit of a misexecution, Rockboom level 5 doesn't have that ult yet to potentially turn the fight around. The Jarvan Cataclysm sort of trapping them in the wrong situation because they were in the pit with Dragowski there with so much healing coming through with the Void Coral active to give them that extra little bit of health. And now Nebula is going to be the main benefactor of this Rift Herald, going to be getting a lot of plates, a lot of money back the other way. And for the first time all series, Florida Southern, they've got themselves a lead.
Yep.
This is what we wanted to see out of them. We wanted to see them push forward with a little bit more resistance.
All right. There goes Paramore. Resist that. Saints find one top side. And the good thing, at least Florida Southern, the Saints did go take that first dragon. Florida Southern, though, they did not hesitate to go to that top side. They're like, okay, we lost too many objectives for nothing last time. We didn't really get any good contests. They had the one Rift Herald. They ended up winning the Smite fight, but they gave away everything else pretty much to the side of St. Clair. Now they're going to try to get this gold back as many ways as possible. This Belveth already having a much, much better early game, significantly better scoreline. Going to have a lot more agency as this game goes on, and they're going to need it definitely. Need that patrolling the map, Bakery Boy. Have to get away here, Dragowski. Just going to show long enough, but Saints are going to back off. Just chip away at these plates, try to get some gold back in their pocket, start to swing this lead, hopefully, the other way.
And the main thing about Dragowski having impact on this game is that you're able to stay in your ultimate form for a lot longer. You get that Endless Banquet stacked up. You're able to do more around the map. You know, you're able to dash over walls, and that seems like something that's so minute in a lot of senses. It can take 5 seconds off of your clear just being able to skip over walls and say, hey, I don't have to walk around this wall anymore. It makes sure that you can do things a lot better, a lot quicker. You have a lot more in favor of you here. And Dragowski had a really rough time getting off of the ground last game. Now, definitely feeling a lot better. And this is a worrisome point for Alonso being down 1,200 gold. Bakery Boy, though. Oh,
gonna land the Everfrost. Gonna get stuck up there. Oh, Root's gonna go through. Nebula is gonna flash away to safety. Just gonna get away very at the nick of time there. Dragowski waiting in this pixel bush. Maybe Alonso gonna overstep here, but they're gonna smite away that crab. Get that bot side vision. Alonso not gonna dive into though. His teammate there, Bakery Boy, gonna touch up this wave just a little bit. Probably grab that plate and see what's up with it. Saints still pushing it on this top side. That 2v1. Orange just hanging in there for dear life, trying to keep onto this tower, but this topside tower is getting shredded. We're going to see the R come through, though. Trying to get the knock-up under the race. He is going to find it, but not going to get too much value out of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's going to clear that wave out. At least try to buy some time. Going to get some damage in, and they're going to go through, and they're going to land the R as well. W comes through. Comet going to touch him up as well. Very, very low health, but he will survive for the time being. The Saints trying everything there to get him down.
Yeah, the ulti turret was almost enough to flip that the opposite way. Dragowski, though, as we were saying, you know, the issue about this Jarvan being so far behind is that Jarvan does not scale well until the later stages of the game. It is purely for that early game, and unfortunately, it was unsuccessful in that. Ricky, though, going to be in a bad way, as you mentioned there. Going to get dove here. This might be tough, but Alonso's in the air. Oh my goodness, going back in.
Oh, Ricky's a demon. Going to flash up. Dunking on Javi. Ricky, the Darius special, going to find that full combo. Paramore going to try to stun up. Going to dunk one more time. Paramore down to 1 HP. Ricky still trying to give chase here. Bakery Boy, though, on the backside. Ricky's going to find that kill. Tower's going to go down top side as well. The Saints get exactly what they were looking for there. That Ricky special coming through. Back-to-back dunks there. Trying to get the Saints back in this game. Putting the gold in a place where they know it's going to be safe and sound.
Yeah, Ricky says, don't mess with me. Turns around what looked like a sure dive in favor of the Moxons there. And unfortunately, Florida Southern, their lead that they had just for a little bit with that Rift Herald has all but crumbled away. Ricky turns that around in a huge way. And yes, the Jarvan is behind, but now your Darius is ahead. Yep. Yes, you have 2 very early game champions, but overall they go even 1-for-1. Ooh, great block by the clone, but Bakery Boy. They're sure to fall.
Yeah, still in a bad way. Tower shot going to tank. They're just going to be out of tower range. There's Nebula. So landing a couple full combos there. Beautiful job so far in this Ahri to get in, get out, land that Everfrost. Going to land the charm onto a Racer. Try to combo up. Is going to get that flash burn though. So doing a great job. This Ahri actually having a pop off early game. This Everfrost finding extreme value, at least to burn those flashes. Try to get those stuns up. Heimerdinger going to land that stun. This tower will end up falling though. The Saints trying to delay it. Our arrow is going to land there. Gonna land the W as well. The Saints trying to get back here, but this tower's probably going to fall. Flash going to go in. They're going to land the knock up as well. Rockboom trying to get away to safety, erase as well.
Oh!
They are running for the hills. Gonna dodge the Everfrost, and they're gonna turn this fight on its head. Rockboom gonna find the first kill. Jarvan gonna pick one up as well. The Saints, they turn that fight. Look at the HP of their bot lane. They are still willing to engage, take those fights, and they end up with a net positive in the end. Man, those guys are playing on thin ice.
Erase with the upgraded CH2 Electron Grenade there, able to land it down onto 3 members with all the stuns, the triple bounce. The stun radius gets so large so quickly there. It's so difficult to keep up with that, and Erase turns that fight around on its head. It looked so bad for Rockboom there. When you looked at the gold there, all of the gold is through this bot lane right now. That is where all of their gold lead has been put. Yes, you're able to turn around that fight, and it's huge for yourself. Granted, the rest of your map is still a little bit behind, so you have to play around this bot lane as much as possible, because Rockboom and Erase, those are going to be those 2 people who are going to carry you to the finish line here. Fun fact, Erase, the support Heimerdinger, has more gold than Caitlyn, the AD carry, on the opposite side. That is...
the first blood probably helped a little bit.
The
Still a good thing to note, though.
But at the same time, this is just your support item that's now been completed versus ARM? It's not looking hot for Javi thus far in terms of that lane matchup, but nonetheless, this Caitlyn, we've seen what they're able to do if they're given the right resources, and I think they're going to continue to build up as much as they can. Get into a little bit of a rough spot, though, after your first item. Caitlyn kind of falls off in the mid-game a little bit here, so going to be keeping an eye on how well Javi's able to sort of play around that.
Yeah, the Saints did a great job of kind of gapping that the little bit of loss they had. They're able to pick up those 2 dragons. They did close that the gold gap especially. Now they're going to be ahead as well. They picked up a couple kills on the backside. Florida Southern caught overextending in that mid lane. Now the Saints always trying to harass this top side jungle. Majora on the bot side. Full RA combo going to land. Going to get away from that Everfrost. That might have spelled doom for Bakery Boy there, Drakowski. Trying to set up here. Erase, so going to keep firing away. That Caitlyn are going to come through. Javi going to be in a pretty bad spot here. Alonso debating whether to go in. Seeing a couple blue names there. Going to back off for the time being. Just let those minions chunk away at this mid tower. The Saints, though, they're looking to posture and make something happen here.
Yeah, I think overall, good map play coming through from the side of the Saints just to continue to pressure people off. Javi was forced to reset now just because they don't have the health. Dragovski's on the bottom side of the map. Yes, you're giving over this bot lane tower for this, but what can you get with this Rift Herald in return? Very likely going to be able to crack open mid lane here as well, which is so good for opening up your map, opening up the enemy jungle as well. There's only 1,200 gold, though, as the difference right now. 13 gold as it ticks over a little bit there. It's still going to be a little bit tough for the side of St. Clair to steamroll the game in the same fashion as they did last game, because this Belveth, this Ahri, this Ornn are more omnipresent on the map. They're doing more for the team. Even still, just barely getting that
I wasn't
tower
sure.
Yeah, those last 3 caster minions, you give them a little bit of a bonus there, working overtime to pick up that tower. It is cracked, but still, the gold lead, as we mentioned, not substantial at all. It's all around that bottom side of the map now, so you have to play around Rockboom and Erase here, because those are going to be your carries.
And I mean, listen, the Saints, they're not unfamiliar playing around that bot side. That's been their key to victory most of these weeks. Obviously, as we always say, Ricky and Bakery Boy, you have your 2 consistent laners that aren't going to get bullied out. Alonso making as many plays happen as he can. This bot lane has been the one to turn these fights. We've called so many Rockboom triple quadra kills, turning a fight when it looks like it's dead and gone. But the Saints, yeah, say pretty even, a much more even early game than we saw last time. The Saints were already starting to snowball things at this point, but having that 2 dragon advantage going to spell out really good things for them once more. Put that pressure on Florida Southern. They've already started taking that top side map control, and they pretty much lived in the Florida Southern top side jungle last time, so they're going to try to make that play, at least keep vision up the entire time. Nebula going to be a little far up in this bot side. Alonso going to try to set something up here. He should be able to catch up to Nebula here. He's going to maybe have to pop from downtown, the arrow's going to land, and Ahri's in a very, very bad spot. Bakery Boy going to pick up that kill. A little bit of revenge on his lane opponent there. Trying to land the chains out one more time. Going to back off that support into that red buff area. The Saints still trying to still get this pressure and push in here.
I'm just going to hop over towards these items here. Look at that from the Ornn. That's Knight's Vow second item. I love to see this on Ornn players. Majora going to go for this more supportive build on the Ornn to sort of support whoever the carry is at this point. I think very likely going to be putting this Knight's Vow even on someone like the Belveth here. Actually, we can hover through all of the enemy champions. We'll find out where that Knight's Vow is placed at some point. Of course, may not have actually bound that to anyone yet, but it's going to be very good for this Ornn to be able to sort of redirect some of the damage going towards Dragowski or Nebula or Javi in this situation. I'm very curious to see who will end up sort of pulling the weight of that in that situation, and I think overall this build is very smart because the Ornn just knows I'm never winning the side lane. I might as well play with the team and let Ahri deal with the side lane there.
And that's a much better decision because we saw the Sejuani kind of tried to get the side laning going, but just never could really get ahead of the cards there. So it might be a good idea to play off the rest of your team, knowing that you're probably going to lose the 1v1 to Ricky as well. But the Saints still trying to take a lot of advantage in this bot side. They're looking to pressure Florida Southern at any turn that they can. They're going to sit in this bush and wait. Hopefully don't get spotted out here. But Rockboom gonna keep shoving in this mid wave. Ricky gonna take a nice recall there on that top side. Both teams waiting for this Cloud Dragon in just 35 seconds.
Yeah, it's so risky just having Rockboom as sort of your bait in this situation, but great arrow.
Oh, huge stun. Oh, deleted by Paramore. Now Alonso gonna go back in. Drakowski in a bad spot as well. The Wraith taking him up. Alonso, Rockboom gonna find that kill though. Now Javi getting run back in that mid lane. Rockboom landing a ton of arrows. It's a hailstorm of arrows. That's 2 kills for Rockboom. Running down Caitlyn like she stole something. Bakery Boy putting in work on this bot side as well. Major did send that R through. Saints are trying to connect her. And there's the Heimerdinger support erase. Gonna get charmed up though. Will he be able to find the kill on Nebula? Not quite. Bakery Boy gonna get that flash burn. Is gonna go back away from that tower. Rockboom though still chunking away with these arrows. All 3 of the Saints are going killing. Ricky gonna be on that killing spree, taking out that Ornn. Gonna get Ricky another kill on his belt. This will be that bot side tower as well for the Saints sooner than later. And now they're really starting to put a stranglehold on this game.
Yeah, we talked about how even the game was for a while there, but unfortunately it all turns Ari there. For Majora, you gotta stay in range of the Knight's Vow. You gotta be around your Caitlyn if that's who you're gonna bind to there. Unfortunately, Ornn was up top side there, doing exactly the opposite of what we were expecting. You know, Nebula really needed to be on that top side of the map, potentially have the Ornn towards bot side, so that you have them able to link up with your Caitlyn in that situation. And just a bunch of isolated fights, one by one, they fall. You can see the build now coming through from the likes of this Ashe, going for the Wit's End as well to make sure that Nebula can't one-shot them. It was so close for a while, but now starting to fall by the wayside here now. Spending up to a 5,500 gold lead. St. Clair, they know exactly when to strike, and my goodness, this Heimerdinger support. How annoying are they?
Yeah, arcane buff still in effect for Heimerdinger. I'm just joking, but the Saints, though, this bot side has been absolutely cringe to deal with, but it packs a wallop. For all the annoyance it can be, it has its use. It obviously does a lot of damage, and the Saints, they're looking to pick apart these squishies. The Caitlyn, she's trying to get ahead. That was one of their win conditions, but she is slowly but surely falling behind, at least in the kill department. The farm has kept up the same, but the Saints, Erase going to get caught up a little bit here. Caitlyn are going to come through, is going to flash away, but Belbeth going to give chase here, and Erase going to get taken off the map there. Drakowski going to pick up a 3rd kill of the game there. The Saints going to lose 1-0. They did end up picking up that 3rd dragon as well, so they're going to be over onto Soul Point. A little bit of a skirmish that top side, but they're going to give away here.
Yeah, and I was about to mention, right before that fight happened, you know, Heimerdinger was still even in gold with the Caitlyn there at 20 minutes in, but regardless, now that's a little bit different. Caitlyn was able to pick up an assist on that one, but overall, it's just been such a strong game coming through from St. Clair when they're able to find fights on their own terms. A lot of these skirmishes are going the way of Florida Southern because they don't have the fight set up in their favor, and this is one that could go south as well. Bakery Boy's in trouble.
Yeah, Bakery Boy in a world of hurt. The Ornn are going to come through, going to land the knock up that turret. No wave to play with, though. Going to tank a couple shots there. Majora going to go down to about half HP.
Goodness, everyone's here.
Florida Southern not giving up on this one. Alonso, though, going to try to dive in. Gonna have to avoid that charm. Javi gonna be tagged down just a little bit. These Saints turning potentially a 5v1 dive on Nintendo. Ricky gonna go on that backside, trying to get the dunk in. Oh, so much damage for the Saints. Every member of Florida Southern ticked down. Ricky's gonna end up, or Jarvan's gonna end up falling. The Saints, they're turning this one. Rockboom is indeed here. Ricky giving chase on that ghost, landing the hook, and finding the kill over for Rockboom. The Saints, what looked like to be a 5v1 posture dive topside, gets completely blown up in the face of Florida Southern, and they almost find that last kill as well. Almost an ace there, but it's gonna be a 21-minute Baron. They are also going to be on Soul Point very, very shortly as well. This is what we kind of saw from game 1. The Saints, they found that angle, they found the linchpin, they pulled the pin on that grenade, and they are throwing that sucker all over the map right now.
Yeah, and my goodness, it is. They're even going to wait for the Jarvan to respawn before they complete it. Granted, Heimerdinger turrets may have a different agenda. Believe Alonso has the Baron. If we hover over them, we'll be able to tell really. Oh.
Unlucky. Poor Alonso. Save one jungler.
You know what? It's the Heimerdinger's fault. The Heimerdinger is ratting against their own team. This is what I mean. This champion is so annoying to deal with. The turrets, though, or do take that Baron incredibly quickly. Yeah. And while you don't have it on your jungler, realistically, the jungler is never going to be split pushing in that situation. So overall, not the worst of situation, but nonetheless, Baron now on the side of the Saints. They're up 8,000 gold. You look at just the item differences between the two teams right now. Rockboom hasn't reset yet, I believe, so they're going to have enough to buy that Wit's End. Now we're forced to go to guerrilla tactics at this point here. Florida Southern, they're just lurking in the bushes, as a moccasin would, trying to find their prey, but Majora seems to be the prey first.
Yeah, he's in a very bad spot. Bakery Boy and Ricky gonna get the tag team going here. Second stun gonna come through. Majora not gonna find his mask. Getting post drives by Ricky. Everfrost gonna go through. Caitlyn are gonna come through. Bakery Boy gonna eat that one though. sort of Florida Southern trying to get the turn.
goodness.
Ricky gonna dunk one more time. Looks like he will end up falling though. The Caitlyn gonna find the kill. Bakery Boy going right back in to try to clean things up. Not gonna quite get it though. Gonna be a kill. Alonzo gonna pick one up in return though. He raced it. Alonzo giving chase to the spot side now. Couple Baron minions in tow. Florida Southern though getting that Baron minion off. A couple of the Saints gonna help them a little bit out, but the Saints are still gonna try to shove this wave in and play for this soul in just over 1 minute here.
Yeah, really difficult fight for the side of the Saints as well, just because they tried to burn all of this onto the Ornn, but the Ornn is still so tanky.
Yeah.
It does not matter what build you go for in that situation. Anathema's Chains is next on the agenda, or possibly the Warmogs as well. Would like to see either one of those come through, but this Ornn is just so difficult to take down in a quick fashion. You know, stalling out enough time for the rest of the team to rotate through. We talked about guerrilla tactics. They were behind enemy lines. I don't think they were, or Bakery Boy and Ricky were expecting them to come from behind, and it turns the fight in favor of Florida Southern there at the end of it. And overall, it's a good fight if you're able to win against the likes of the Baron. As you can see, that gold still very much... The gold for this team is still very much on that top side of the map. This Caitlyn has been able to catch up a significant amount. I mean, now not compared to the before anymore, which is kind of good. More so compared to the enemy jungler in those situations. But nonetheless, it's really difficult to find those fights, especially when Baker Boy is still down compared to the rest of the team. Not as strong as maybe they're expecting. Majora, though. That's the
And he's going to split the sticks on that one. Not going to land that stun the same, so they are posturing for this soul point. Caitlyn are going to go through. Ricky going to keep that one, though. Ornal, it's going to come through. Going to try to land the stun. Not going to land anything. A lot of abilities getting whiffed by both sides here. Already going to go and try to land the Everfrost. Double knockup for the Saints. Lots of damage getting traded back and forth. Boom peeling off this backside. Ricky going to dunk on Jakowski. Two posts back-to-back. Root's going to land. Oh, the Saints are kiting out this backside beautifully. Alonzo going to take out Majora. Ricky, our Baker Boy, going to find one. All 5 Florida members going down in the dirt. The Saints are going to walk this one down mid lane, and this might be a win angle for the side of the Saints here.
They've got Baron for another 12 seconds. Will they be able to end the game? Maybe not, but they're definitely going to do a lot of damage to this base. They're looking for the end here. They want to book those tickets to Philly here. They've been looking for a championship all season long. They've been working so hard for this, and after a flawless regular season, a flawless quarterfinal, what looks to be a flawless semifinal, the Saints, they're going to be going to land. They win their semifinal, and they're booked the ticket against Maryville.
Philadelphia, we will see you soon. The Saints, exactly like you said, pack your bags, book the flight. The Saints, they're moving to the NACE land in Philadelphia. They take out Florida Southern, and what I will call convincing 2-0 fashion, picking up right where they've left off these last few weeks. Every single member getting involved. And what did I say? The Ricky special, there was no other way to book their ticket than for Ricky to go out there and posterize a couple people. Exactly what they did. Just a beautiful game of League of Legends. They started slow kind of in the early game, got a little bit behind, but they always find a way to turn that thing on its head, and turn it they did in Florida Southern. They're going to be left scratching their heads after that one.
Yeah, a really tough loss, I feel like. You know, it felt like they were starting to build up a little bit of momentum. They had that lead in the mid game there, but unfortunately just weren't able to piece everything together at the end of the day. And as you can see, just from the damage that was able to be put out here, so much damage coming through from this Darius. Granted, they were fighting an Ornn the entire game. So much damage coming through from the Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger out damaging everyone except the Ahri on the opposite side. You know, it is so annoying to deal with that champion time and time again. Race just doing a great job of being as ratty as possible on that Heimerdinger. But overall, it just shows that the Saints have a read on this meta. And it's been so interesting to see what they come up with week in and week out. Granted, as we look towards those finals, NACE StarLeague finals in Philadelphia, it's going to be a completely different meta. So very interesting to see what they opt to pull out in that situation, because, oh my goodness, they've been looking good in this meta. What will happen in 2 weeks? We don't know. Yeah,
everything's going to change in a couple days, and they are awaiting Maryville, who we know pretty much the titan of Collegiate League of Legends. That's a team they probably have scratched that red circle, that red X on the calendar the entire year. They want to take them down, prove themselves as potentially one of the best collegiate teams in the entire world, let alone North America as well. They want to make their mark, and what better time to do it? Go off to Philadelphia, try to get it done. But an excellent job, and yeah, you said they read the meta perfectly, and the champ pool always impresses me with these guys.
Yeah, definitely really interesting to see what they'll pull out with. And we're actually going to get a winner's interview after this here, but we're going to set that up. We're going to head to a short break. After a convincing 2-0 victory, we'll get to hear from the players themselves. Welcome back, everyone. I've got our winners interview here with Rockboom and Erase. First and foremost, to both of you, congratulations on making it to the NACE finals.
Thank you.
And I guess start off with you, Rockboom. You've really been growing a lot as the season progresses here. You've been one of the star players for this team. How does it feel to sort of get that validation and be able to make it to LAN in Philadelphia?
Honestly, it just makes me very excited because I've done a lot of work to improve and become a better player, and I've always wanted to like carry a team, show that I can be that ADC that you rely on, right? So it makes me very happy that my team can rely on me to do the job, right?
For sure. And for you, Erase, you know, filling into the role of support here halfway through the season, how's it been sort of transitioning in with this team and playing together with Rockboom here on this bot side? How's it felt to sort of get through those sort of beginning jitters and really thrive in the bot lane now?
I think transitioning into support has always been pretty easy. It's just that like I am naturally a shot caller and I always lead the team just with my confidence and my macro knowledge of the game. I think transitioning into bot with Rocco, it's been pretty good. Like we're both ADC mates, right? So we kind of know what we like from each other. What I would do for my ADC if I was playing ADC, right? But yeah, it's been pretty good so far. I think we'll do well.
Yeah, and just to talk about the games a little bit here, Game 1, Rockboom, you brought out the Varus that we've seen so often throughout the meta in this last little bit here. Sort of, what were your thoughts going into it against their enemy bot lane? What were you sort of thinking in that situation?
Well, their bot lane doesn't really have like the strongest champ pool, right? He didn't play, at least in solo queue and stuff, it didn't seem like he was very confident on Varus, right? And his most played champ in solo queue was Caitlyn. We were kind of like, Caitlyn's one of my most played champs too, and I like to prior that champion, but like, I can get counter pick and just hard stomp lane because champion wise, not even because of player, it's just awesome. We just gave them Caitlyn, counter picked a Varus in game 1. Varus Karma, right? Because usually you want Caitlyn Karma to counter Varus, but we just take Varus Karma, and now they have like no options. And then second game, they're like, oh, we're just gonna ban the Varus. Then we just went Ashe Heimerdinger, and it's practically the same thing. It's just very unplayable for them to pick Caitlyn today. We just had such a good plan.
Yeah, and of course, Erase, talk to me about this Heimerdinger support pick here, because we saw it at Worlds, we've seen it sort of rise up a little bit here. It's really, really annoying to deal with from what we've seen, but explain to us exactly what you were expecting from that matchup there on the bot lane in Game 2, and how you've been practicing it as well.
Well, Heimerdinger in general forces priority in bot lane no matter what, just because of his turrets, right? So you can't really walk up because the turret's range is really large, right? And then followed by Heimer, you just throw the grenade, throw down a turret. You do more damage than every other supports. Like if you just watch the game 2, right? I would just walk up, throw down a turret, and they would get hit. They would both walk back, and I just walk away. It's the same thing, rinse and repeat. You can't get pro against Heimerdinger, and that's why like Heimerdinger is probably the S tier pick right now. Like you can play with any bot lane, and it just forces the priority. And then you can move that over. You can take dragons, you can take turrets, you can take Baron with it, like, no problem. Just with turrets, because they tank 4 shots, right? It's unplayable to play against. It really is. It feels like you're getting choked out.
Yeah, a very strong pick at that. But of course, last question here. I'm actually going to ask it to both of you. I'll go to you, Rocco, first. Knowing you're going up against a Maryville, what does that mean for you going to fight them on LAN? You know, going up against one of the best collegiate teams of all time, Maryville. What are your thoughts on it? I'll go to you and then over to Erase afterwards.
Well, I'm not scared of that, right? Like, yes, they might be the best, but I think if we play our game, and I think we could take down anyone, right? Like, I just want to... Like, I want to win at St. Clair, right? Like, I want to put us on the map. And if we win this match, that will really put us on the map. So we're gonna prepare as much as we can and give it our all. This is our first LAN as a team, so I heard LAN buffs and all that, so I'm excited about that.
For sure.
I feel like I play a lot better in person, so that's something I'm excited about.
Of course, your Race.
I think for myself, Maryville is just a step where we need to go as a team. Because I think we belong up there, and this is the year, or even next year too, but we can show it this year with the roster that we currently have. They're just a step in the right
direction. So confidence out of both players there. Thank you so much to both of you for joining us on this interview. But of course, after that will wrap us up for tonight. We'll be back with more action tomorrow. Game is determined because it's playoffs and everything, but of course, catch your League of Legends team back in action, I believe on November 30th at the earliest there for their semifinals for NECC, and of course on December 3rd for their NACE StarLeague finals matchup there. Thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. I want to thank, of course, Jobin, my co-caster, as well as Kaylee and Dan doing the observing and directing respectively there. Thank you so much for all of you for joining us tonight. We will see you next time. Good night, everyone. The wave bouncing back, that's CS League is going to throw back in favor of Ricky. They'll look to fight on the bottom side.
Oh, Rockman's gonna get chained up here. It's gonna avoid the stun. Paramore still trying to find that kill onto Erase. Rockman though, gonna try to turn this one. Maybe he can land a couple abilities here. Gonna try to keep rocking that Q. Landing a lot of damage here. Yeah. Oh, and the Heimerdinger. Erase gonna snipe out that kill. Rockman gonna find one. They're gonna maybe try to set something up. Drakoski. He's gonna go in. Maybe Erase. Gonna back off just for the time being. So Drakoski still trying to kick around here and find this angle, but that bot lane of his is pretty low on HP. Those trades might be a little bit tricky there, Rockman, especially if they keep getting tagged up here. Now Drakoski's gonna get tagged up as well. Rockman and Erase now going. Flash gonna go through. Gonna miss that knockup. Rockman's gonna take the ignite though. He's gonna get taken out by the Velvet. The Saints are gonna dive all the way into Alonso. Gonna land the knockup and find that kill in return. Beautiful job. Erase gonna flash. Is gonna get that flashed out of the support though. So Paramore and
everyone's up here. Drakoski, you've got to be really careful of this play now.
Oh, Drakoski, he's gonna go all the way into Saints. They're not able to connect quite yet though. Rockman gonna take a couple hits there. Oh, Rift Heralder's gonna get stashed away. There's lots of damage going through. Bakery Boy trying to chip away from the backside. Drakoski, 1 HP. The shield's gonna just keep him up. Nebula is gonna find that kill under Rock Boom. Alonso's gonna fall too. Jabby gonna pick that one up and now Erase in a very, very bad way. Gonna get knocked up trying to pick away this kill at Paramore. Not gonna find it though. That's good.
Early game, and unfortunately, it was unsuccessful in that. Ricky, though, going to be in a bad way, as you mentioned there. Going to get dove here. This might be tough, but Alonso's in the air. Oh my goodness, go back in.
Oh, Ricky's a demon. Gonna flash hook. Dunking on Jabby. Ricky, the Darius special, gonna find that full combo. Paramore gonna try to stun up. Get a dunk one more time. Paramore down to 1 HP. Ricky still trying to give chase here. Bakery Boy, though, on the backside. Ricky's gonna find that kill. Tower's gonna go down top. Burn those flashes. Try to get those stuns up. I'm gonna land that stun. This tower will end up falling. The Saints trying to delay it. Our arrow's gonna land there. Land the W as well. The Saints trying to get back here, but this tower's probably gonna fall. Flash gonna go in. They're gonna land the knockup as well. Rockman trying to get away to safety. Erase as well. They are running for the hills. Gonna dodge the Everfrost, and they're gonna turn this fight on its head. Rockman gonna find the first kill. Jarvan gonna pick one up as well. The Saints, they turn that fight. Look at the HP of the can. They're gonna stick this bush and wait. Hopefully they'll get spotted out here. Rockman jumping in this big wave. Ricky gonna take a nice recall on that top side. Both teams waiting for this Cloud Dragon in just 35 seconds.
So risky just having Rockman sort of your fate in this situation, but great arrow.
Oh, huge stun. Oh, deleted by Paramore. Now Alonso gonna go back in. Drakoski in a bad spot as well. The Rays taking him up. Alonso, Rockboom gonna find that kill though. Now Jabby getting run back in that mid lane. Rockboom landing a ton of arrows. It's a hailstorm of arrows. That's 2 kills for Rockboom. Jabby gonna be tagged down just a little bit. These Saints turning potentially a 5v1 dive onto Nintendo. Ricky gonna go on that backside, trying to get the dunk in. Oh, so much damage for the Saints. Every member of Fortis Southern ticked down. Ricky's gonna end up, or Jarvan's gonna end up falling. The Saints, they're turning this one. Rockboom is indeed here. Ricky giving chase on that ghost, landing the hook, and finding the kill over for Rockboom. The Saints, what looked like to be a 5v1 posture dive topside, gets completely blown up in the face of Fortis Southern, and they almost find that last kill as well.
Wood trying to find their prey, but Majora seems to be the prey first.
Yeah, he's in a very bad spot. Bakery Boy and Ricky gonna get the tag team going here. Second stun gonna come through. Majora not gonna find his mask. Getting post drives by Ricky. Everfrost gonna go through. Caitlyn are gonna come through. Bakery Boy gonna eat that one though. Sort of Fortis Southern trying to get the turn. Ricky gonna dunk one more time. Looks like he will end up falling though. The Caitlyn gonna find the kill. Bakery Boy going right back in to try to clean things up. Not gonna quite get it though. Gonna be a kill. Alonso gonna pick one up in return though. He raced to Alonso, giving chase to this bot side now. Couple Baron minions in tow. Fortis Southern though, Nix on that one. Not gonna land that stun the same, so they are posturing for this soul point. Caitlyn are gonna go through. Ricky gonna get that one though. Arnold is gonna come through. Gonna try to land the stun. Not gonna land anything. A lot of abilities getting whiffed by both sides here. Are gonna go and try to land the Everfrost. Double knocker for the Saints. Lots of damage getting traded back and forth. Rockboom peeling off this backside. Ricky gonna dunk on Drakoski. 2 posts back to back. Root's gonna land. Oh, the Saints are kiting out this backside beautifully. Alonso gonna take up Majora. Ricky, our Biker Boy, gonna find one. All 5 Forta members going down in the dirt. The Saints are gonna walk this one down mid lane, and this might be a win.
The wave bouncing back, that CS League is going to throw back in favor of Ricky.